Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the lion's voice.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the lion's voice.
Yes, Jah people, this is Michael Shamai representing. I will say, hear the lion voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Rastafari.
It's AWTITUDE representing for Lion's Voice. Yes, massive. This is the time for I and I, the lion, them to tell I and I story, our story. Yes, and we reign and rule like this. Reign and rule, yeah. Selassie, I reign and rule. You can't take the lion vibes, people. If you no fool, cause we know Selassie reign and rule. Reign and rule. Selassie, I reign and rule. Queen Omega drop them in the fire, pull from them. No Queen Omega, she reign and rule. Royal Kushite, ancient essence, Emperor Selassie in a majestical presence, flash of all sevens, projecting through I and I events. We sing a song for the king, we bring joy and blessing and overstanding, yeah. We hear Jah every day, hey. Reign and rule, yeah. Selassie, reign and rule. Yes, I lion vibes, Selassie, reign and rule. Attitude say that Boondocks, Black Organization of Global Diplomats optimizing expressions to the world. Till the world, till the end.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lamb's voice. Now put it, I jolly for say that.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to the lion voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Oh, yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.
Jano, I'm so hungry, bro. I haven't eaten all day. Like, my head started to hurt me too. Like, what more could I eat right now?
What about a city samosa? samosa, a fusion of Indian, Jamaican, and African culture. City samosas, the best samosas in the city.
The second beast was given the power to give breath unto the image of the first beast so that the image could speak, and caused all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced the people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive the mark on their right hands and in their forehead. Gone down in the new world order, new world order. Happy work harder, happy pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them prison cell, that's the new slave ship. New world order, new world order. Happy work harder, happy pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them video game, that's the new matrix. It's a new world order. Them start bleaching, diverse doctrine, them start preaching. Angels for the stars they're reaching, they're falling, never hear the lion calling. New world order, them fight against the poor. Machine and robot that sweep them floor. Machine and robot that run them stores. So them create disease ones without any cure. The new world order, new world order. Happy work harder, happy pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them prison cell, that's the new slave ship. New world order, new world order. Happy work harder, happy pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them video game, that's the new matrix. It's a new world order. Them pan cell phone, families don't even talk in their home. Village farmers get murdered by drones. Village mistress get murdered by stones. New world, so you better call Tyrone. Tell him prepare to use the whole earth a war zone. New world, Satan must feed the throne, so we must exodus and leave him alone. The new world order, new world order. Happy work harder, happy pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them prison cell, that's the new slave ship. New world order, new world order. Happy work harder, happy pray harder. Babylon them coming with them microchip, and them video game, that's the new matrix. It's a new world order. Check the energy, make it so hard to go have a family. Man, woman and child, well that are the trinity. Preserve the bloodline, Solomonic dynasty. Vatican them say you beat at them malice and them thief. Harvest and them reap for the global elite. As when the elder him said, don't you weep, the lion destroyed.
What do you have to tell the people about Rastafari?
Light to the world. The king of kings and the conquering line of the tribe of Judah. I left himself. Where's my ruler? Hey yo! Yeah, hear them high, hear the black king on the 23rd of July. So tell them guy who praise God up in the sky, it's a lie. The Almighty living on your night. From ancient time, them a try. Them Romans know them just open them suit and ties. Criminals ain't got no alibi, they stole my people. Then them comes without them genocide.
Are you talking about slavery?
Them couldn't kill the lion will come conquer Judah tribe. Go through tribulation, I and I strive, see sufferation, I and I still rise. That's why we tell them in America, live Rastafari in every ghetto area. We come to tell them in a Toronto, straight at Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie the First. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Waziro Menen. My name is Kwasi Bonsu, aka the Dejazmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney. I'm an author. I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion Talk Live. Welcome to Lion Talk Live, and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lions are telling our own story. Tonight, we celebrate the growing lion pride. Tonight's guests are going to be the item. We are going to put the link in the comment section, and we are going to have a rotation. I have some special guests I've invited that will be coming forward as well. But we're going to have a nice reasoning tonight. So make sure you get your ital snacks. This is a tradition on this platform. And now every 10,000 subscribers, we open the platform, taking the temperature. We want to hear from the item tonight. However, we do have a topic, the Rastafari Golden Age. You know, what does that look like? What are the institutions that are necessary for this golden age? We are visionaries, so we have to reason the vision. You know, we don't spend enough time reasoning about where we're going. You know, we talk about the history, we talk about the challenges, we talk about the problems, we talk about we talk about entertainment. We don't have enough conversations about what is the outcome of all of this. Where are we going collectively? And I say it's a golden age. His Majesty said, the tide that's sweeping Africa cannot be stayed. No force on earth is great enough to halt or reverse the trend. And we see now with the rise of the Sahel states, we see now with the spirit of Pan-Africanism rekindled on the continent, that what His Majesty said has again come to pass. Never miss. Rastafari never miss. The rising of the continent is now. And what is our role in this uprising and this golden age that is being ushered in as the consciousness, the vibration, the frequency is rising? You know what I mean? Slackness, yes, it's there, but ones are waking up. You know, ones are waking up. Not everybody wants to go to a Diddy party. You know what I mean? Enough people right now, you give them an invitation to a Diddy party, they said, no, you know what I mean? Whereas one time, everybody at work for getting to a Diddy party. So it shows you, say, the times are changing. You know, the realization, the revelation, everything is being revealed right now. We're seeing very clearly who is who. People are taking sides, and we continue to rise, the global lion pride. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. Let me have manners. Welcome to the Lion Voice Network. We are working diligently. I took a little break. Had to travel to Canada to check on I parents, you know, make sure so them Irie, you know, we're at that age right now where, you know, reality, you know, is setting in and our parents are going through things. So we have to take the time. Family is a cornerstone, you know what I mean, of life, legacy. And, you know, I have to big up my father. Great inspiration to I, you know what I mean? He gave I the name Kwasi Bonsu. I was born with that name. My last name was Clark. I took off the Clark as I became a man. But he gave I the name, you know. So I grew up in a Pan-African home. He always showed I and I that we were Africans first, you know what I mean? So we always have had that consciousness from birth. And it was a joy to see my father, see my mother as well, and take some time. My wife's parents, you know what I mean, is a joy. So big up all of the Toronto family. We went up there to take care of some business for Haile Bonsu. We'll be going up there to for a Rastafari conference in the summer. So stay tuned. We have some big things planned. If you're not subscribed to the platform, make sure you subscribe, because this is where we have the authentic Rastafari content. We are building slowly but surely. Big up all of the Lion Pride. Big up the Lion Pride on Patreon.
And we have to, let me just say, I know sometimes people say, boy, Ras, you know what I mean? Beginning of the episode, them. We have to take time to take care of housekeeping. And I want this to be normalized in the Rastafari Pan-African community, because a lot of time we're on the road doing activism, we're doing the work, and we're house in the clean. You know what I mean? We have not taken care of the home front, and so the sustainability is not there. And you said, boy, that Ras was doing such a great job. You don't see the Ras. Why? Because there's no economic stability. Ras have to take time. Youths, them are go college now. The reality is that time is precious and we have to do things. So by instituting collective security together, we can rise. We can rise the standard and the quality of the productions. We can travel to more places to show the glory of Rastafari in its fullness as it's worthy. We can be that unifying voice and that factor, as a collective. So we depend on our Lion Pride on Patreon. So big up all Lion Pride on Patreon, the monthly subscribers who give their actual investment of $5, $10, $25. We have people at $85, whatever you can afford. We give thanks for those Lion Pride on Patreon, and I want to make it clear we have 35 of us continuing. We just lost a brethren. Big up yourself. And when a one ceases to become part of the Patreon, is nothing but gratitude, because it's battlefield out here. People are going through all kind of things. So when one invest in the eye, take the time and have that faith, you know what I mean, and that joy, I take it serious. Same way when I want stop, I overstand, because it's not easy. You know what I mean? We're going through all kind of things. And this is why we want to appeal to the 40,000. You know what I mean? If everybody does a little bit, then it's balanced. If we have 40,000 people give $10 in one time, 1 month, that's almost half $1,000,000 right there. And it only costs each person $10. That's I vision, is the power of the collective. You know what I mean? It takes a while to get there. As my white Rastafari brethren say, you have 44,000 or you have 40 plus thousand and you only have 35 Patreon. It touch a card. If you haven't seen that episode, Should White People Support Lion Voice Network, check it out. We did a live, a white subscriber, brethren, Rastafari brethren, had a very long critique, and we took time to ponder it, you know what I mean? So it's a serious thing. But these are the things, you know what I mean, we'll reason about them as we invite ones to join us tonight. If you're just joining us, we're celebrating or celebrating 40,000 subscribers. We're going to be asking the Lion Pride to join us tonight. So you're going to get to see some of our Rastafari family from around the world who have been supporting the platform. It's not just I. Big up, we are also working on our Rastafari in STEM series. We interviewed a structural civil engineer, Ras Culture. Our next interview will be Ras Pizzle, he's a mathematician. So big up Ras Pizzle. Just interviewed another mathematician, so we're gonna keep them coming, you know what I mean? Rasses who are in the technical fields. STEM means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we're gonna be highlighting as we go forward for the rest of the year, because to build this golden age, it's gonna require STEM. You know what I mean? We need the scientists, we need the technical people, we need the engineers, we need the mathematicians. So we're going to be highlighting these brethren. And we want our youth to see that just because you say Rastafari doesn't mean you leave education or intellect. You can achieve any profession as a Rastafari person. Very important part of I passion. Today I'm wearing my Black to Our Roots t-shirt representing Habesha as a board member, long-time board member. You know what I mean? I have to represent at the 40,000 for Habesha. Big up all of the Habesha family. African Liberation Month. Habesha is doing Pan-African work. at scale, creating an institute for the return and the healing in real time. If you haven't seen Kwasi, check out the Kwasi Institute, 5 acres, completely off the grid, heaven on earth. May I tell you, them, we built it as a proof of concept. So big up the Habisha family, big up Bingy Shan, all of the ones them underground worldwide who are part of that Habisha family. You know what I mean? We have so many. If I start name names, I'm going to forget people. So just know, say me, I big up the Habisha family. Big up all of the Idor family. I'm also a founding member of Idor. Big up Idor. These are all the ones who support the platform quietly in the background. I have to take time. So forgive I have to take the time and big up some of the community. Because when you see I come forward with all these guests and you say, oh, the Rust network so vast, is because of the community work over the years. You know what I mean? So I have to big up IDOR, Universal Development of Rastafari. Have to big up Tran, DejKwasi, Reynard of the Naya Bingi. Have to big up Dark, Diaspora Africa, Rastafari, Congress. Have to big up RMO. You know what I mean? Have to big up all of the organs that I and I have worked with over the years. As we continue on the journey, you know what I mean? We're looking forward to welcome so many of our family members. It's going to be a joy tonight, family, may I tell you. So just stay tuned. Get your ital snacks. Get yourself together. If you want to join the stream, put yourself in the waiting room. Just click on the link in the comments. I think we just dropped the Streamlab link in the comments. So just click that link. It'll take you into the studio. We'll bring the item on. Once you have on your camera, you have to have on your camera to get access. So we can see is who. Make sure, you know what I mean? It's not what the internet would call a troll. We don't want a troll around here, you know what I mean? We want to make sure it's a real living eye. And we want to see the princes and princesses, the kings and the queens, you know what I mean? We want to see the Isle of Face. So turn on your camera, or we cannot bring you forward on the platform. I see some ones coming in. I have some special guests that will be coming forward as well. So we're looking forward to hear from some of our Rastafari family. So stay tuned, family. 40,000 subscribers. We have reached a great milestone. We still have a lot of work to do, though. You know what I mean? We don't just want to have all these subscribers and we don't, you know what I mean? We haven't built a community. So I'm going to bring up our first guest for the evening. He's part of our Lion Pride on Patreon. He's actually the first brethren to become a patron, you know what I mean? December 19, 2022, you know what I mean? The brethren gave us so much strength and he's doing so much powerful work. So we are going to welcome the brethren, and again, we're going to have a lot of ones passing through for the evening. So just stay tuned. This is the Celebration family. So let us welcome, yes, Ras Andre. Welcome, family. Yeah, Bingy. How's everything?
Going very well, my friend. How are you?
I'm giving thanks for life and strength. Is it possible to put your phone like this?
Let me see. Hold on.
Yes.
All right.
Haile.
My face look real big in the screen now.
Just adjust. Take
So
your
I get
time.
it.
Take your time and adjust.
Right.
It feels the
Let's
frame.
see. All right, 1 second.
And this, as I said, this brethren is a visionary brethren, you know what I mean? And I feel honored to know this brethren. When I first started the channel and started posting regularly and put up the
there we go.
and put up the Patreon. As I said, sometimes you have a concept, you see the vision, you try to implement it, but it's nothing happening. It can get lonely, and you have to still have faith. You still have to do the reps, even if you don't see the results, at first. And again, His Majesty sent this brethren as a first representation of what would grow to be the Lion Pride. So I want to just ask the I first introduce the myself to the family.
What's going on, family? My name is Andre Pijo. I like to think of myself by sharing, I guess, who I am in this manner, right? I am who I am, nothing more, nothing less, nothing better, nothing worse. What I want for myself, I want for everyone at the expense of no one. I'm a father of 3 young ladies, and I'm a marketing technologist. I just do the work the best that I can, one day at a time.
Give thanks, give thanks.
Yes,
So
indeed.
what was it about the Lion Voice Network and the Lion Pride on Patreon made you say, let me spend my hard-earned money? I'm the father of 3 daughters. I can't ramp out here in the wilderness.
Right.
You say I'm gonna support this brethren on the internet.
Your conviction came through. I think that's what it was. And just the idea of a Rastafari creative, and kind of like bringing the movement into the fold of what some would say is like a Western society, right? Because at the end of the day, it's going to be the core of the values that are going to kind of help bring in this golden era. And I saw that come through on my Instagram feed, and I saw the YouTube pop up. I'm like, yo, this brother's on it. He's not playing around. So I said, yo, I got to support this. 100. Yeah.
Give thanks.
Yeah.
It's like I said, that brotherhood, where brethren,
That's a
because
fact. Yeah.
usually the sisters are the ones who would be the fastest to support a work, you know what I mean? So I really give thanks to know that this Lion Voice Network, the first person.
Second.
Yes, you know what I mean? The first person.
Somebody's calling. I can't turn it off. Like, you can still hear me, yeah?
Yeah, man, I can
there
still
it is. Okay,
still hear the first person was a brethren, that's a powerful symbol of the brotherhood, the Lion Pride. Because really, when you think of a Lion Pride, it's 2 male lions who usually are a coalition, 2 brothers or other ones can grow, but it's really the brethren who set the order for the Lion Pride, you know what I mean? Because the sister and them are there, they need the protection from the hyenas and the roving male lions, you know what I mean? So it's really that brother that defends the pride, you know what I mean?
Right. Yes, I definitely agree. It's that it's finding where my strength can bolster, that area that you might be working on and improving, and then going back and forth, and then leaning on our sisters to kind of like keep us moving, staying motivated, staying us from kind of spiraling, so I agree with that 100%.
Give thanks. I see
Yes,
see
sir.
Bongo Wisely click the link and come in, my elder. I was trying to call you all day. Click the link, Bongo Wisely, and come in. Tell the people what the eye does and how they can support the eye, because we're also going to use this platform tonight as a way to circulate the Rastafari dollar. Right now, I'm on an radical economic collective security. We have to spend with each other. So if you have a product or service, click the link, come up with a reason, because it doesn't make no sense. We out here and we're not supporting each other. So let the people know what the eye does and how they can support the eye movement.
Right. So my core profession is marketing technology. Right now, I do have my own consulting for marketing. If you have a business, regardless of what level you are, I can help you scale to that next level. And at my heart, I am a technologist, and I love that aspect of, like you said, the STEM series that you have, because that's the next wave, right? Like, we're coming into this emerging technology, and people are talking about getting into the digital era and what that's going to entail, and bringing the core values into that arena is going to kind of help us get to the forefront. So again, I'm a technologist. If you have a business and you're looking to scale it, you're looking to reach people online, you're looking to find your audiences, I'm your guy. And I'll put my website in the comments.
Give thanks. Yes, yes. So networking. This is what it's all about, building community. So I want the item to know when you come to this platform, it's not just a sterile platform. This is a living, breathing organism, a community of ones, you know what I mean, who are coming together to change what we see and to become the change that we want to see. Tonight I want to talk about a Rastafari Golden Age, you know what I mean? Because I think part of our problem is not really having a focus of where we're going. What is the outcome? You know, if you work on a project, you got to define what the outcome is. And His Majesty said that peace is not a is, it's a becoming. So we acknowledge that the Golden Age is not a static place. We're not talking about a static state. It's a livity. You know, it's an uprising. It's a constant evolution, and this is why we call it heaven on earth. This is why we understand the divinity of I and I, because there's no end. You know, once we start to ascend, there's no ending to what we can conceive. I was telling someone when I was a youth, an iPad was something we saw in Star Trek Next Generation. Brethren. No, we living in a time where that's everywhere. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Think about it.
Standard.
You see what I'm saying? Think about it. That Star Trek FaceTime was Star Trek King. There was nothing like that in reality. You know what I mean?
Our phones are more powerful than the rockets that went to the moon. If that was actually the case. You feel me? So it's like, yeah, you're right. It's silly.
So you can imagine when the collective of humanity is focusing on manifesting heaven on earth, what that there's no end to what I and I. That is our divinity. Bongo Wisely, my elder. Tonight we are celebrating 40,000. The Lion Pride. Bongo Wisely was there from early.
Thanks. Let's love, to all our viewers. Rastafari love and blessings. Selassie.
Selassie, the first. Come on. If you're in the forward zone, you have to put it in your camera. That feet forward, you have a fan on?
Say that again?
You have a fan going? There's some on the outside.
But it's the nocturnal creatures,
Okay, I'm hearing some feedback. It's better now. Or it might be your speaker.
Well, it's only for...
Yeah, I think it might be my voice coming through your speaker. Please introduce thyself, Bongo Wisely, and just talk to I about is a Rastafari Golden Age on the horizon?
Golden Age. Well, give thanks. Glory to word, glory to sound. Glory be to the powers of the living eye, Kedamawi, Haile Selassie, and Empress Menen. Yes, I grand rising to all our viewers, wherever they are them tune in, over land and sea, Bongo Wisely Tafari, healing from the land of Ayanola. Some of you may know it as St. Lucia, but the indigenous name is Ayanola, So as indigenous people, we have to uphold our indigenous culture. Yeah, man. Well, I give thanks to be on this platform this evening, sharing, the glory, Kwasi, the triumph of the Lion Pride, the victories which I have gone through over the years. I give thanks, I've been there following right through, and it is my intention to continue, so I give thanks for the opportunity, to be here this evening and to share with I and I whatever needs to be shared. As it pertains, as I say, the golden, how you term it, the golden
Golden
era.
age of Rastafari,
The golden age meaning because 2030 would be the centenary of the coronation of His and Her Majesties. So that in itself is a milestone. And the Rastafari community, starting from that time until this time, it has been a road of challenges, but as we know, without challenges, there won't be any victory, any glory. So as we say, the hotter the battle, the sweeter the victory. So the road over the years has been very challenging, ups and downs, persecution. There have been good times as well, victories which we've overcome, you know. So it is a time where we're looking forward because when we realize from where Rastafari coming to where we are today, the amount of respect and the love which we get from the community, it is heartwarming. Compared to the days when Rasta would be scorned upon and people would try to spit on Rasta and, see all kind of things about Rastafari. So through the powers of His Majesty, we've overcome the hard times. Like His Majesty say, our Armageddon is past. So now as we say, Africa is rising, Rastafari is rising same way, So it's glorious times we're looking to move into, Yeah, man, because without the liberation of Africa, Rastafari could never be free. So we currently, Rastafari need to show their strength and, find ways and means of getting involved in that revolution which is taking place on the continent all now. We need to find ourselves in key positions because Rastafari have a leading role to play in the whole liberation of Africa. So as we say, the time is now. So we're giving thanks for the works that the AES countries, the example which they have set, because when you look at it compared within the last 3 years, compared to the other leaders who've been there for 20, 30 odd years, and the way they've struggled and all now still playing as though they have to be dependent on the West. And the AES countries is now leading the way, showing the example. Yes, we cannot allow you all to exploit our resources and then send it back to us where we have to pay at exorbitant prices. We can utilize and develop our resources ourselves. And that is the revolution right now, because Africa is the richest continent in the world. And Africans cannot be seen as the poorest people in the world, So as we say, the revolution is on and Rastafari has to find its rightful place within that revolution. Rastafari.
give thanks, give thanks. Yeah, there's a feed forward when I talk coming through your speaker, but what you're saying is so relevant and you confirm what I'm saying because with the rise of Africa, naturally I time has come because a lot of what you're hearing now are things we said in the wilderness, for decades. And now we're hearing these topics becoming mainstream in Black society, these conversations about returning to Africa, about plant-based lifestyle, about, eco-friendly, harmony with nature. These are things that we were saying from the beginning. And now these things are becoming prominent. How do I see it, Ross Andre?
Yeah, when I was thinking about this, I was contemplating what the golden era would look like for Rastafari, and I realized that I think it's deeper than it. I think that Rastafari is the key of the golden era. You know, and I kind of spoke about that earlier, which is the determination, conviction, righteousness. These are the values that we hold true to our hearts. And if you start from that, if you stem from that place, then it is the core of Rastafari that is going to blossom the actual golden era of the world.
Yeah.
And the reason why when I thought about that was I thought of what it would look like. Like what kind of society would it be? And I thought of a meritocracy, right? A society built on leaders are born out of their contribution to the whole. And when I was doing some research, one of the downfalls of meritocracy is elitism. And I was like, oh, that's the answer right there, because Rastafari is about building up the people, right? Upliftment, and elitism is a quality of the oppressor, and that's the antithesis of Rastafari. So if the downfall of meritocracy is elitism, and that's not even in the core of who we are, then yeah, a society built off of your contribution to the whole, uplifting the many, then the golden era, wherever it is, whenever it's going to start, is going to start with Rastafari, or the consciousness that we bring to the whole.
Yes, I love that sound. And these
Right.
are the
Respect.
conversations that we have to be having, because if we're not
Yeah.
reading on it, we're not shaping it, we're not, the energy is not going to flow there, and it's just going to be confusion, 40 years in the wilderness, and we're
Right.
sitting around because we never, anybody who's done project management, you have to have an outcome. You know what I mean? You have to be going somewhere. And again, we're not saying that we're thinking about the perfect state and there's no challenges. Challenges present opportunities. So there will always be challenges in any system that we create. But that is where we use the gifts and the intellect and the ingenuity and the genius and the greatness. These are how it's expended by solving problems that have to be solved as we create a more ideal earth, heaven and earth.
Right.
One. No being me in the waiting room, please put on your camera so we can see the eye. I would love to add the eye to the platform, but I need to see the eye face, please. Turn on your camera. Is a security measure, just to make sure that we don't have anyone trying to infiltrate the thing under secrecy. We need to see the eye face. So when you click the link, make sure that your camera is on so we can add you to this reasoning. Tonight we're talking about the golden age, and we're celebrating 40,000 plus in the Lion Pride. We're about to get to 40,000. 41,000. We're not far. So we are still moving at a good pace, and I give thanks. Most of the audience is African, and that's intentional. So we're looking forward. No being me, I saw the camera come on, but me I don't know where I'm going. So please fix up your lighting so we can hear from the eye. We are expecting a lot of guests to pass through tonight, so we'll see how that go. Bongo Wisely. I talked to Nana Faraika, and I was reasoning with her about this concept of the golden age, and coming forward, and I asked her, what do you think was the high point of Rastafari coming through the Iowa? And she said probably the 1960s would have been the high point. The 1970s, she said, is when it went global. Everybody everybody had took to the faith in the 70s, but the 60s is really when the core and the heights of the liberty and the firmness of the ones them treading And it makes sense because 66, of course, is the visit, the explosion, the optimism that, in those times, the elders used to think that, death had been conquered, physical death, and that they would have ushered in this golden age. That was their concept as young Rastafari youth in that time. Um, when does the eye, I'm asking the eye bongo wisely, and then come off of the mute, I'll mute my line. When do you think was the high point of Rastafari? Do you agree with Nana Faraika? Or and what do you think that this coming golden age, do you agree with the brethren that it's a golden age, that Rastafari is a key, or is it Rastafari have to elevate first to elevate everything else as the example? How do we see this coming golden age, Bongo Wisely? And when was the golden age for Rastafari before?
Yes, I. Yeah, well, in terms of Rastafari globally, I would say the 60s, starting even from the 61 mission, which went to Africa, to look into the possibilities of repatriation. From that era, then we had His Majesty's visit, which we refer to as the Passover, where it was like His Majesty coming to gather the flock, So the 60s definitely is a very crucial period within the evolution of Rastafari. But then now, coming even in this time, because, well, the 60s, I was not really in Rastafari. So I would say I entered the life in the late 70s, you know. So coming up till this time, well, I would say one of the pivotal points would have been the between the 1980s and the 90s, because that was the time when, with all the brutality of the 60s and the 70s, by the 80s, things started changing. Rastafari became more visible. Rastafari started coming out more open. Rastafari started being on media, the different kind of things. Even employment-wise, Rastafari started gaining employment. Rastafari was creating their own employment also, during that time. Because even in the early era, from St. Lucia or Ayanola's perspective, enough people feel, well, Rasta, they wouldn't want to work, Rasta lazy, Rasta this, Rasta that, and so on. So by that era there, then Rastafari started owning their own business, creating their own business, whether it's through ital food, selling food, good food, letting the people realize that they need to come off all the old food which the West or the system was providing. Then Rastafari started opening up what we call ital shops. Then Rastafari started getting into herbal medicine, herbal productions, doing their own natural herbs and so on. So within that era there, Rastafari started establishing itself. And today, I can say that, the respect that Rastafari have today is as a result of the consolidation of those works there, from the 80s coming into the 90s, because also the 90, with the centenary of His Majesty, was also a very crucial point. Because even from the Rastafari perspective, there was that centenary tribe which visited the Caribbean islands. 13 different islands was visited through the auspices of the elders from Jamaica, So there again, so through that, the respect for Rastafari was enhanced as a result of all those activities, you know. So we give thanks and moving forward. Right now, Rastafari reach a stage where right now we it's not just a community. We are talking of nation building right now. Nationhood. So right now we have man, woman, children. Rastafari have their own business. Rastafari looking to involve in all different aspects of life. So we now need to come and show the world what it is to live a life, as we would say, which is guided by moral principles. Like His Majesty said at the League of Nations, international morality is at stake. Rastafari is now reintroducing international morality within our governance, within our livity, within all what we do. And that will make the difference. All those corrupt politicians, because even with the word politics, well, again, some Rasta say, well, we burn politics and we this and that and so on, But we must distinguish between politics and politricks. Politricks is what we need to avoid and stay away from. But politics is the governance of people. And if we talking of Rastafari as a nation, we have to be politically inclined, not in the divisive nature of partisan politics, but politics in the sense of providing proper administration, proper governance to a people. So as we move forward, these are the things which we need to focus on. Well, some refer to it as the new faculty of understanding, but that is life. Life is not static, life is dynamic. So the life is evolving. So we now, as Rastafari, we need to make ourselves in tune, keep ourselves in tune with the changes, so that we don't feel left out. So we need to be involved. We need to be at the fore, providing leadership, providing guidance, direction to whosoever will may come. Rastafari.
Give thanks, Bongo Wisely. Always we're humbled by our wisdom. Mute the eye line, family. Yes, we're humbled by the wise mind. Always an honor to host the eye on this platform. One of the reasons that I man have the energy to continue to provide the content is because my elders, like Bongo Wisely, constant encouragement behind the scenes, constant support with contacts and links and recommendations. So as I say, I'm just a vessel. I was called to do this work, but this is the community that has rallied around I and I. We want to just take time and celebrate. We are 40,000 plus right now and growing. And we're doing something historic, never been done before. And we're building an online virtual community, and we are harnessing the economic power. This is not just an exercise in talking. We want to harness the power. 40,000, $10. We can capitalize how many businesses every month if we direct that potent power. We got to believe, family. I want to talk to New Being Me, one of my Lion Pride and patron, my sister, who never leave I a day in our life. Big up the King Man, same way. Why? Big up the King Man. Yes. Bless up the King Man, Rastafari. Tell I, why does the I support the Lion Voice Network? Why does the I family support the Lion Voice Network?
Because it's the revelation and the revival. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you can hear I. We're
Yes,
riding.
sir. Yes, sir. I hear the eye. I hear the eye.
But it's the revival. It's bringing it back. It's bringing us to one. It's what what it's supposed to be. I got to big up though our teacher, Ross Iodonis, Lion of Judah Society, because we wouldn't be here overstanding the importance, my king man or I. We wouldn't have met without that. So giving thanks to the revelation, the revolution, and the revival. It's inevitable. We give thanks to the Most High for His Majesty and Empress Menen so that we can reboot this golden age, reboot the age of Mashiach. I a Haitian Rastafari, Racine, in the roots, you feel? From the beginning and the end. I give thanks for how you bringing everyone together. Like, one of my biggest things I thought was so powerful, we love the artists, them. Of course we do. But I loved your mission on bringing the business people, the educators, the creators. And I think the first time I saw you was from Bookman Express. Man, I had to get I King Man that book. And I loved it. He loved it. He loved it. So, yes, the intelligentsia, because we are moving into this age that's been in the stars. Books, revelations, Bible, Quran, whatever. The Hopi prophecy. And His Majesty Empress Menen in this tribe of the children of Israel, we're just making the story continue. So big up, give thanks, and, thanks for everyone's patience and everyone's strength.
No, I'm less than 30% female audience according to the analytics. So I love hearing Mama voice, anytime we can hear Mama. And I love that the Kingman support, we're gonna reason with the Kingman at some point. To pull up that history. Yeah.
Big up to all the sisters who link in. That's what I really love. The sisters who come on here, Janai, the sisters who talk about Empress Menen, the sister from the dark, all of them. I'm just so excited. I can't remember no one. And your queen for holding it up. And so I have our whole youth. I'm a mom of 5 and a executive director of an organization called GAME, GAME, a Rastafari organization, given to I from His Majesty when we found this revelation of Rastafari. You feel like? So, merci beaucoup. I don't want to keep y'all. I just want to say we love you. Give thanks. Blessed love. We are here for Iva. And thank you for strengthening our families and our communities internationally.
And thank you for putting your money where your mouth is as a monthly subscriber and a participant. You were at our first town hall meeting, the networking, all of the things that we're doing as a community, because we're not just here, as I said, to just be a static platform. We're a living, breathing organism. And I believe that the Lion Pride has a role to play in ushering in this golden age, the role of the media. That's why Marcus started with the media, the colored peoples of the world. This is why His Majesty imported a printing press. When we look at our great leaders, they knew the power of media, of controlling the narrative. And this is why this platform is so important. As the Lions them start to roll in, we have some special guests coming tonight, family. We're talking about the golden age. Where are we going? What does this look like? His Majesty. Because one of the things I want to just make clear to the family, everything that people see Ibrahim Traore doing are things His Majesty already did before social media. If you're talking about industrialization, He made tomato paste factory. His Majesty launched a series of industry in Ethiopia, processing plants. When you talk about agriculture, His Majesty is the one who mechanized agriculture in Ethiopia. You're talking about airplane, His Majesty brought Ethiopia Airline into existence. When you're talking about creation of the bank, you have to talk about His Majesty buying the Bank of Egypt in 29 and establishing the Bank of Ethiopia, opening its doors in 1931, bought by His Majesty personal money and nationalized into the bank. So everything where you see these revolutionary leaders in AES doing, Haile Selassie, I set the framework, the highest of himself, shall establish I and I. Our job as Rastafari globally is to continue the work. Zion have no ending, you know what I mean? Golden Age have no ending. Hamilton Brown, long time Lion Pride. We see you. Why do you support this platform and what does this golden age? Do you believe in a golden age or do you see a golden age coming and what does that look like?
Firstly, greetings to everybody in the high and mighty name of Kedamawi Haile Selassie. Well, when I was on what do we call this? Celebration, High Liberation. I came and I shared that I had seen your work on another network, and as time has gone on and I was looking for more information and stuff, I meditate and I said, Father, I want to learn some more stuff about you. Where can I go? Where can I go? And I came across a Lion Voice, and I just started, eating up the stuff. I was like, oh wait, you talk about being the reading rest, and I'm like, wait, I need to go get some books. So because of I go buy My Life and Ethiopia's Progress Volume 1.
Okay.
And I started to read that. And I tell you, me tell you the line that has stuck with me. There's the introduction that has the gentleman who did the translation. But then when it starts off with Kedamawi Haile Selassie's own words, he says, whatever man may do, or whatever, basically saying whatever a man may engage in, he can begin it, but cannot complete it unless God sustain and support him. So that has stayed with me, And I tell you, I tell you a greater joke. As time has gone on, I'm revealing to the family more and more. Like, listen, man, I'm not a part of that stuff. I am Rastafari, Whatever reason, volume 1 just disappeared. So give thanks, me buy volume 2 now. I'm buy volume 2, and I'm watching you talking about different things. I was like, wait, hold on, where am I getting that information from? Some go some say, like Father say, you bought volume 2. Now read volume 2. This is what you have. Read volume 2. I'm starting to read volume 2, man, and I'm like, I am like, for those who don't know Kedamawi Haile Selassie, if you want to get to know Kedamawi Haile Selassie, if you got that call, you need to go get volume 2. That is my recommendation to you. So from that point of view, that's a part of how the network has blessed me personally. I'm not a Patreon member, but I keep
in
the
due
eyes
season.
in due season. But
we have the Ubuntu one-time contribution. Anytime you're ready, we're there. I do
yes,
the
sir.
work.
Yes, sir. But I keep the eye on the family in my thoughts, and I check in, see what's going on and so forth. So very much in the meditation, the work and the family and all that come on is very strong for us. So that is, for what you can't give in monetary, you can give in vibration, and I think that is, that is
And we have
equally.
gratitude, nothing but gratitude. The eye is always welcome. We love the eye energy.
Give
you know
thanks.
what I mean? And the love, we feel it. And bless up the eye house and the eye home, you know what I mean? Tell me about this golden age now from the eye. The eye is a money man. He's an accountant, if I remember correctly. You deal with numbers, you deal with, you know what I mean? How do you see the economics of this golden age? What do we need to be thinking about? How do we need to be focusing right now?
Okay, I will give you from what I've been observing. So where I am, I don't have the experience of some of the other ones who grew up in, say, Rastafari families or live in a Rastafari community. This is purely a spiritual movement. And so when the Most High causes me to pay attention to certain things and pay attention to certain individuals, He gives me the opportunity to look and learn and listen and find out, okay, why is this sector within the community not growing as we'd like? um, why is it that, and to take stock of what the issues are. So what I've been seeing is, at least from my vantage point, one, I'm open to correction, but I'm just going off based on what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that, and based on what I've heard you say as well, that there needs to be more build out of our community, and there needs to be more. There's a fair amount of knowledge sharing I've seen where information is concerned, but now where the economics are concerned, I think we need to start trusting each other more to meet those basic needs that we have. So I've heard you make the call, or okay, if you know somebody who is okay, you started a social media you started something on social media, and you're like, okay, they're Rastafari youth who want to get moving and working and so forth. Then maybe what can happen is we open the channel for more volunteerism to take place, at least, so that people can get the skills training within the family, as opposed to have, because all of us those who've lived in, I'm from Jamaica, and those who live in, say, the United States or other countries know what it's like when you go on a job. You have to balance yourself a certain kind of way in order to just survive going through the job. So you do that. So by the time you do all of that, you're tired and you're not thinking about how can I bring my energy now to the community. So I'm seeing a lot of youth who they're probably in university and whatever. And when I was in university, it was always suggested to me, if you want experience, go and volunteer. So for me, okay, and I can tell you, one of the main motivations why I'm even here today is because of the work. I spent a lot of years working for the Babylonian systems, and I've given them of myself. I've given of myself. Every space I go and change takes place. Every single place I go and change takes place. And what I want to do is to see change take place within the Rastafari community. So I tell you the truth. You say I'm a numbers man. I see it this way. I'm a mission man. So the only reason why I went to university was because of a mission. I don't know why the most I did want me go university, me go university. I don't know why the most I did want me in a media, me go in a media. But me go in at these things and me come out. Me go in and me come out. Go in and come out. That kind of move. So what I am suggesting is that I see it on ARC, and we build out more of that. We need to spend some time seriously finding out what the needs are of the individuals within the community, and then we structure methodologies of how to meet those needs first. We've spent a lot of time sharing the message with the world. The world hear enough. It's time for and if them don't want to hear, that's for them business. But right now we need to start feed the sheep. And the sheep them
Yeah,
need
man.
need
Turning internally, we need to look
yeah
internally, is
man,
what
yeah
you guys
man.
say.
Yeah man. And I heard you say something. If whatever it is, we need to, Father said, move away from the petty differences. Then we have to start to identify what some of those petty differences are. Honestly, and let's be honest about it, especially for those of us as men, the ones who are going to be leading out. We have to identify what is something I'm petty about. What I don't like about the Dejazmatch, Kwasi. What me not like? Can we have a conversation about it? And can we not have the conversation on social media, please?
Yes. Thank
You
you.
know, can we have get a phone call? Matter of fact, I'm going to leave my email address and my phone number on this. Listen, I am not I believe every one of us has talents and abilities, and we can all learn new things. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm about working together and you know, wherever the shortfall is, we'll find it in the family. If I don't readily know it, you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who can do it.
I love that talk, King, and we need that energy in the Patreon. You know, start at $5 and come in, make we structure, make we structure the movement because it's I and I time. You know, it's I and I time. Is nobody else coming to save us. I want to welcome two warriors from upper New York side, my Battlefield Angel them, Ras McCunnin, or McCunnin, because him don't want no title other than McCunnin is an officer. You know, McCunnin and Ras Haile culture. Welcome my family them.
Dynasty. Hello, Rastafari.
Yes, please introduce themselves to the global family.
Okay. I am a Makonnen, out of Guyana with Ethiopian heritage. I was involved in photojournalism for a number of years. Uh, Pioneer in Ethiopia for a number of years. Currently, with the Defense Establishment, which is uh, a group of officers like myself thinking about the future, the unborn. So working on this platform together in this manner, there's no failure. So that's why my presence is here. Also, we have Ras Haile.
Yes, I greetings, blessings to one and all. Haile culture. Yeah, I dwell partially here in Brooklyn, New York, in between New York and Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Yeah, and I'm glad to be here. You know, I'm an artist, graphic designer. I have a hat company. Yeah, I'm not just an artist in various degrees. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, peace and perfect love to one and all. Blessings.
Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks.
Oh,
ODIC.
currently we're creating a new publication. Where is it? Because I was involved in media, so this is uh, a new book just was released. I don't know if you can see it properly here.
Okay, what's the title?
It says the Palace Photos albums. You can
Okay.
probably page through a few of them. It has a seal. Get the seal. Let me get the seal. Okay. It has His Majesty seal here. Kadamawi Haile Selassie Negus Nagas. Moambasa Zion Magada Yahuda. So this is his personal monogram. But it is filled with photos, like chronicling like from probably before coronation until the interregnum.
Okay.
Uh,
Is that available on Amazon?
Actually, this was sent from Ethiopia to him
Okay.
directly.
Okay.
So, but they had a release for this book where Rastafari was prominent in the release ceremony. It's on YouTube.
Okay. I just before we go any further, I want to tell this brethren the born. He said Islam calls you guys Rastafari is a colonial project to divide African people. I just want the brethren to know this is not that type of platform where you come evangelize. You're welcome to come as our guest in a perfect love. This is a well-educated platform. This is not a reggae boogie dread, boogie yaga thing. We can tell you about how the Prophet sent his followers to Ethiopia for refuge and all them something there. So don't come with the divide and rule tactics. You don't know about His Majesty. It's clear you come here with propaganda. So if you don't want to be removed from the comments, just humble yourself and free up yourself, you know what I mean, and learn. You know, you're welcome, but please don't fill the comments with talking about His Majesty as a colonial puppet that Ethiopians hated. Ayasu was the real king. It sounds like you're an Ethiopian, maybe. If you know about Lija Ayasu, me give you that. You know what I mean? But this is not that platform, family. You will get removed from the comments if you don't behave yourself. We run a very ordered platform, and not that we can't have a debate. We're ready for that, but tonight is not the night. We're celebrating tonight 40,000 in the Lion Pride. So if you cannot stick to the topic and humble yourself, you will be removed. So me just give you that warning before we go forward. Continue, McConnell.
And this portrait here is very significant because an Ethiopian can't change his skin, nor the leopard can change his spot. So, and a picture is 1,000 words. So, it is very important that we view all these pictures so that our main psychological could be focusing on the emperor divinity. Because in this time, with a lot of distractions, uh, we lose in essence, the essence of of the mandate that we're supposed to be carrying out, which is unity. It's personality cult dominating INI. We need more institutions. We need nurses, professionals. We can't build a nation with rhetoric. So we need coherent logic.
Definitely agreed.
So
Ras Haile, the eye has been back and forth to Ethiopia. Give us an upful on what's happening on the land, family.
Yes, I give thanks and praise, Zion. Yeah, man, going to and fro, I man, is, get more and more acquainted, even with I and I family, the repatriates that has gone there forward, and I would continue to say it's a striving community, a thriving community. Even as Ethiopia at this time is going through a lot of construction currently, throughout the city, Addis Ababa, even down to Shashamani, a lot of road constructions and new buildings and so forward, So it's a transitional phase in that aspect. Ones have been coordinating with the AU from amongst the community, and they, as ones may know, the AU has taken up the charge of reparations. And most recently, the head of CARICOM addressed the AU, even giving reference to the speech of His Majesty. And these ones now on the grounds, meaning the repatriates, are in communication with ones of CARICOM and in collaboration with the AU in addressing these matters. That's been a common theme amongst Rastafari, and I is glad to see it on the world stage now. So, there's much more I could detail, but, these few points I feel are essential to back up.
And as a super creative, because you have levels, there's levels to everything. I look at the eye as a super creative, meaning Bridget is a visual artist, a musical artist. Bridget can do all kind of creative things. So how does the eye see the golden age or the golden era for I&I? What does that look like? What do we need to be working toward? What are some of the aspects, some of the institutions necessary?
Yes, I well, as it say, a nation's greatest resource are its people, and the average age, even in Africa, is 19 years old. Where I see, even in this region where I dwell in America, the president wants to give mothers $5,000 incentive to have more children. So even though, despite all the population control tactics will take place in Africa, we see it's a burgeoning society and a burgeoning community and population of people. And as I just celebrated the African unity, given remembrance to the forming of the OAU in 1963, I see that at that time, it was a time in which all of the resources now were being handed over to the independent African states, supposedly. This rise to independence, wherein before that, all the resources belonged unto colonial masters who ran the different divided regions. But now that independence has rose, and Africa is now coming into a more enlightened age as far as independence and seeing through the neocolonialism which takes form in the economic oppression and like what we see in certain regions like South Africa. We see, certain ones rise into that independence, and it's a more view of people and government in tandem, wherein I come in a time of against government and Rastafari, bun government and democracy, and so it's time I even rise within the realms of society, within I own society, in that independent manner. And in that perspective, the vistas are wide open when it comes to the raw natural resources of Africa, the resource of I people professionally. It is fertile ground, man would say at this time. I to really look amongst I selves and I human resource, where it is great potential. I would say the ball is in I court, for lack of better words.
Give thanks, give thanks. Serious sounds that we're blocking here tonight. We're here with the Lion Pride family. If you want to join, put your name in the chat. I think we're at our maximum right now. We can cycle ones in and out, but we need to know that you're present. If you want to come on the stage, let us know. But we're going to be reasoning tonight. We have elders. I know the people saying if their computer is broken, why the two square down the bottom look the same? But it's a father and a son combination. You know what I mean? So I want you, don't fix a computer. I just my brethren Ras Woolley. Please introduce the I self and talk to us about this golden age. And I know this brethren is very interested because I want to my work, my colleagues, my work colleagues when we suit up in our Gideon boot. You know what I mean? For do Rastafari work is one of the brethren them when we see hours upon hours really putting into creating the architecture necessary to carry us into an industrial age, because one of the things we have to talk about too is that the golden era of Rastafari, we have to industrialize, we have to standardize, creating institutions to scale. Yes, the individual eye is irie, but now how do we scale that now to employ people, to handle payroll, to ensure that families can be sustained on creative works and just STEM field that is from a Rastafari perspective. This is where we are as an uprising. Ras Woolley, talk to I about this golden age and how you feel about the 40,000, because you watch it from early too.
Yeah, man. Greetings one and all. Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty. It is an honor to be here on the Lion Voice Network once again. Boy, I cannot stop um, bigging up and congratulating my brother because, when it was 30,000, I was there. 20,000, I was there. When it was all one, I was there. So to be here now to say 40,000, you know, it is an honor and boy, is iron sharpen iron. So I will always give credit where credit is due and give ones the flowers. And I respect and honor the work the I is doing and continue to do, because it is not only here on the Lion Voice Network. There is a lot that happens behind the scene and whole heap of other work. See, I and I example here with which is I blood father, literally, grew my to be who I am here on this call also. So I am just honored, and I am here as a testimony to show that Rastafari work will continue, and I will do I part to help to continue the work. And I want to also bless up Bongo wisely, and all of the guests, Makonin, Rasa Haile Culture, my brethren, see me if I come close. Brethren Hamilton, bless up and give thanks for everyone's presence. As we speak about the golden age of Rastafari, again, for years I have been very concerned about the state of the Rastafari nation. Because I am a born and raised member of the 12 tribes of Israel, 51 years a member, and it's like we also see other mansions, including the 12 tribes of Israel, facing these distractions and not getting to the point where we should be, but we see that it is a possibility still for these things to happen even now. So, the golden age of Rastafari, it is going to take first and foremost the unity of Rastafari, the unity, working together, because I believe that we have heard the mandate from His Imperial Majesty, organize and centralize. And I see where we have been organizing and still is organizing. Now it's time to centralize all of that effort, because over the 40, 50 years of treading Rastafari, we see a lot of ones who have been able to educate self and also um, gain skill sets and experience and work within the secular world. So I believe that Rastafari has what it takes to fulfill the community development projects and also continue the nation building, because that is what our tenant states, and we have to prepare ourselves to fulfill the action of repatriation. And in order to even focus on repatriation, we have to consider and also master the development of I and I community, and then build the black print here and take that black print with us, because as we know, there's a saying, Africa awaits its creators. Not that Africa doesn't have those creators, because we see that, you know. But I have a role to play within the uh, growth of Africa as a continent, as a people, as a black nation. So, you know, I am personally looking forward to it. It is a vision that I would like to see, you know, manifest within you know I time, but we know that the time is guided by the hands of the Most High, and I am also glad to see that within our time now we have a what I would call a Captain Africa, someone, a hero, that because I have been taught to read and show myself approved. So I too, at a point, was that reading Rasta. My father can also testify. 'Cause I'm always give a book for read and learn about the great. So we know of the ones who were there before. Now, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Thomas Sankara, you know, Kwame and Nkrumah, His Majesty himself, first and foremost. But we are now at a point where we are in a dispensation where I am able to witness the works of Ibrahim Traore, Burkina Faso, building a gold refinery, taking back control of the resources, supplying farming equipment for the people so that the people can feed themselves. You know, and we can go on with these accolades. As much as they have tried to take him out, he has created infrastructure for the people. So we give thanks for that, you know, and we also give thanks for the ones who have and is making moves towards helping the Rastafari nation, you know, stand on its own 2 feet for the people and for the second and the third generation to come. So without even saying too much and even going further, I'm going to stop here, Rasa Kwasi, because we are all from that same school where reasoning has no end in Zion. And I can go on and on and on. So I'm going to just pause
Give
and
thanks.
give the opportunity to have another person speak. But it's an honor to be here.
Give thanks, one of my closest brethren, but I always have to remind him, say I know his father before I know him. You know, his father is who make I meet him. And we have the father here. So don't adjust your TV screen. I'm going to give earlier muggle for Ras Woolley. Brother Carl, we were reasoning earlier today, talking about this concept of a golden era, and you had some very wise comments to say. First, just introduce thyself for those who don't know. This is one of Iman teachers, you know. Let me just say, this book, as a young Ras at Howard University, reading this book, you know, was one of the clearest articulation I got of the perspective that was of the 12 tribe of Israel, you know, and the Abrahamic covenant, Isaiah covenant, you know, the Davidic covenant, all of these things that you read about in the scripture, but really put, you know, the relation to His Majesty. On some points, we may not agree 100%, you know what I mean? But I always respect, you know what I mean, the scholarship and the wisdom and the wise mind and the caution, you know, as an elder. One of the reasons that I think our community in DC have so much unity is that we saw our elders, Ras Iris, Brother Jack, Brother Roy, Brother Carl, Bobo Shanti. We saw that unity demonstrated, in real time. So it's an honor. He is going to be also supporting the platform. We're going to be ensuring that the book makes some money too. I want 40,000 people purchase the book, quarter, almost 500,000 that for going to Brother Carl pocket, and I can guarantee if Brother Carl become a millionaire, how much the golden age would have come in faster. I tell you, because him going to invest in I and I. Brother Carl, talk to us, introduce yourself, and just tell us about this concept of a golden era for I and I.
Yeah, well, give thanks, my brethren. As usual, we greeted each and every one, the brethren and the listening audience, in the precious name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Yahshua the Messiah, who has revealed himself to us through the personality of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. So we are so thankful. I also greet you in the name of those who were before us, our elders, our ancestors, those who have gone ahead of us, upon whose shoulders we stand. And, namely, we will mention the Honorable Marcus Garvey and many others who before us who carry this flag of the red, gold, and green, and many have gone to rest from their labor and their task. So we highlight Marcus Garvey and all many other elders of the Rastafari movement who upheld the red, gold, and green flag that we as youth could come and take it up. I will note our elder um, Prophet Gad, Vernon Carrington. We give thanks that he, as a Rastafari brethren, came and implemented a lot of moves to encourage us to enter into the African continent, which many of the brethren have done. So I also give thanks, congratulations to the program that it has 40,000 listenership, which is a great accomplishment because information is power. Um, I was speaking to Kwasi today, and when he mentioned the golden age, I mentioned to him that I more see it as a golden opportunity now because I believe that um, the golden age is a time which is to come, which is prophetic, and in that time there'll be everything will be subdued under the authority and government of the Most High, where there'll be peace and justice throughout the earth. We have so much brethren and sisters, so many youths who are equipped to implement what we always talk about around the chalice as youth in Jamaica. And we have we have a very good perspective now of everything because brethren, as Brother McCann, greetings to him and the other brother has been to Ethiopia back and forth and seen the real situation. So it's no more just a pipe dream. It's a reality. We have people living in Addis Ababa, Bahadar, Shashamani, a lot of brothers and sisters who are now confronted with the reality of nation or community building and nation building. And that is a task not to be underestimated. Why? Because we are very unique. We This is the first attempt in the history of the world where people are repatriating, not as a homogeneous group of people, but as from various backgrounds, various communities from the Caribbean, from North America, from all over, to go to live in one place and to become one community and one family. So it's a task, but now with goodwill and with the guidance of the words of His Imperial Majesty, who quickly and briefly I will quote, but I cannot leave without the teachings of His Majesty, which has inspired all of us. His Majesty says here in one of his speeches, "May God our Creator, the helper and guiding light of us all, grant you His wisdom that your meeting may bear fruit for His glory. We sincerely wish you all success and pray that God may lead you to that unity which Christians all over the world eagerly await. Man does not live by bread alone, but the spiritual life does not deny, however, the need for bread. However, the spiritual life of humanity must necessarily include the common aspirations of all of us for a better standard of living and for greater improvement in the quality of human existence. The Apostle Paul says, "The wisdom of this world is foolishness with God, and the Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise, and they are vain." The reason for this is because, generally speaking, man makes himself and his wisdom the beginning and the end of his aim in life. And we are convinced that the end of this is destruction and death. It is our conviction that all the activities of the children of men, which are not guided by the Spirit and counsel of God, will bear no lasting fruit. They will not be acceptable in the sight of the Lord, and will therefore come to naught as the Tower of Babel came to naught. However wise or mighty a person may be, he is like a ship without a rudder if he is without God. A rudderless ship is at the mercy of the waves and the wind, drifts wherever they take it, and if there arises a whirlwind, it is smashed against the rocks and becomes as if it has never existed. It is our firm belief that a soul without Christ is bound to meet no other fate. So, why we resort to the teaching of His Majesty is because many times as your brethren meet and the teaching of His Majesty is not paramount. Many times other quotes from His Majesty's speeches were relevant for that time and also still relevant, but the spiritual aspect of the things that His Majesty advised is really put aside many times, especially that we have to read and study the scriptures. Some see that as not politically correct, but I know it's spiritually correct. So I encourage the brethren, the youth now, in this time, whatever you're doing, as His Majesty says, um, we must always remember that without the Most High, we can do nothing, and only with Him will we be able to accomplish anything, as His Majesty quotes further in the speech. So we encourage the brethren to um, hold to the teaching of His Majesty. His Majesty, as Brethren McCannon mentioned, he encourages unity. One of the first points of unity is the family. Without strong family, we cannot build no community. It's a myth to think that we can build strong communities without strong families. So we encourage the brethren to revisit the family life, the foundation of our civilization, and strengthen the family, strengthen the sisters. The state of the sisters, the brethren, the youth are the state of the brethren. It's a reflection of them, of us. So we encourage the brethren to work on that, to build strong families in this, if we want to see a golden age. Um, uh, Brother Kwasi, you can ask any question relevant to Ethiopia or anything, because I know I've spoken, taken up a lot of your time. You may ask anything you think relevant towards your topic. Kwasi, must be take an intermission. But anyway, as we say, we give thanks.
Yes, give
Yes,
thanks. I had a little internet breach there, so
yeah,
I
no
missed
problem.
the last section. But I
We
want
are we
the
are repairers of the breach. Yes, we come
yes,
to repair the
I
breach.
want the Lion Pride to see the quality of the guests.
Okay.
You're not going to hear from Brother Carl and him don't give you some quotation from His Majesty. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. It's not likely. You know, forget that. And this is why when we come forward, we come so solid, because we had ones like this, like Ras Iris, like a Raspido. We had sharp ones around us that would sharpen us with the reasoning. And this is what this platform, we built this platform for the global family who may not have elders in their region, that they have a repository of knowledge from I that they can use to craft, so that they see that this livity is not just you get up and you smoke and you sit down and you listen some reggae music. No, we're talking about scholarship. We're talking about people of high achievement, of excellence, the highest of excellence. And this is why, every now and then someone come on the platform and they start in the comments, and we warn them gently, because we don't have time for foolishness. You know what I mean? You can't come over here convince nobody, because these are people who have done due diligence beyond your wildest imagination, and they're still learning and still searching. So don't come with disrespect on the platform. I'm not going to go to a mosque and tell them how me feel about XYZ. I'm not going to go to a Hindu place and tell them, but people feel comfortable to come to I space sometime and just let off their opinion. Just humble yourself, ask question respectfully, and we're there for them with love. That is what we represent. You know what I mean? So I give thanks, Brother Carl, for the eye. If you want to join us tonight, we're celebrating 40,000 plus subscribers. The last 28 days, I think we did 32,000 unique viewers. It fluctuates. We've gone up to 60. So even though it's 40,000 subscribers, it's important that you have actual traffic, because someone can subscribe and you don't see them again. You know what I mean? So we are building an active community. People watch different videos. We try to drop content every day. We're repackaging. We're going to be working on more short 1-minute clips of word sound, which, right now is the funnel to get people to watch the longer reasonings. We know that people attention span it's rough out there. So we have to work to fit in, but we're still in our early stages of development as a platform. The vision, and let me just give you the vision, is a complete Rastafari architecture of media that is 360, from animation to documentaries to blockbuster films to any aspect of content creation, but from a Rastafari worldview. So we often think of the media as just neutral, but it's not neutral. You have different communities that make film and television to suit their audiences from their worldview. And so we also need to preserve for our youth, you know what I mean? If we want to do a movie about Ibrahim Traore, we should be able to do that. That movie is not going to get funded in Hollywood. If we want to do a movie about Steve Biko, Sankara, Marcus Garvey, we don't have a movie about Marcus Garvey yet. I was hearing rumors said movie will come and we can't see blockbuster film. So we have to be able to create these things for our youths, them to feel proud, for us to, we've always been a people of the creative arts. So I really am answering that call with the Lion Voice Network. So it won't just be I on the platform. We'll have other people with shows on the network. We'll have other type of content where I'm going to be bringing it off of YouTube and onto other platforms. We're already on I Never Knew TV. Big up I Never Knew TV. You can see the Lion Voice over there as well now on YouTube. But we also will be on other platforms, Rastafari TV, other platforms where, we're diversifying, because we can't just give everything to YouTube. You know what I mean? YouTube can tell us to come off anytime. So we want to make sure that we build it. So if we don't have your email address, make sure you also go to the website. Let us have your email address. You can join the Patreon for free, so that we have your email. We're getting ready to launch our first newsletter, monthly Lion Voice newsletter, which is going to be the direct to consumer aspect, you know what I mean? And every content creator, every business person have to have a direct to consumer relationship, meaning the people who are consuming your content interacting. We can't trust that to YouTube. YouTube don't give us certain information. If YouTube lock me off, I can't reach my people them. No, that can't work. So make sure that we have your email so that we can communicate regardless, because some of the things that we're saying may become controversial, and we're not going to bow for your us. You know what I mean? So we are going to continue to speak how we speak, family. So I want to welcome Lion Pride and Patron Prince William. Bless up the family from Georgia, born and raised in America. Please introduce yourself, family.
Give thanks, give thanks. Hail am I, our Father, His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie, Jah Rastafari, glory and honor to the Queen, Empress Rosario Menen Aspa. I am William Thrash. I was born in Killeen, Texas, and raised up in Carrollton, Georgia. Now I reside in Atlanta, Georgia. And my start to Rastafari was Bob Marley's music. I started listening to Bob, and then it went from there. And then the Dejazmatch, if you remember, in 2011, April 2011, they had the Million Rastafari March that was supposed to happen, or so called. And I took the leap of faith to come up there to see what they was talking about, and I met you and Ross I with the I and Ross Iris, and that meeting was like one of the most special moments of my life, because to take a trip like that and then to walk in there and I saw you and Ross Iris, and it was kind of like God taking me there, and then He showed me what angels really look like, and true divinity is what we have. Bless up our family. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. The Golden Age, God is real, and we are going to get to see our heaven, our holy Mount Zion. His Imperial Majesty established it. So therefore it's going to happen. And just being a student of life, learning about the truth about God, you know, being in a society and a system where we have been, where lies, rape, murder, continuous oppression has been forced on us for like the last 540 years here in America. And so to be able to see the truth through all of the lies, and I don't even know how to explain it. And I think, brother, that you are a great vessel of the Most High, Him Selassie, and keep up the great works of what you're doing with the Lion's Voice. And I've been checking out things on the Patreon and the music, and just learning from that eye, because I remember Ross Irish used to tell me when I called and talked to him, he'd be like, "You need to come up here so you'll learn from me. You need to come learn from me so that I know that you know." And I just never got the chance to do it. Now we have the Lion's Voice, and I know that's direct teaching, because I think you was one of his most keen students.
Yes, I was a student. You know, Rasiris is a professor.
Yes, I
mean, taught I about the University of Adversity. I really give thanks for the eye from them time, you know, coming out of a federal institution, you know what I mean? And really just, you know, the brethren of the trucking business, the brethren is doing powerful works. And big up all of the truckers, Freeway the Dread. We have a couple truckers that, you know what I mean, are part of the Patreon that listen when they're driving and thing, you know. And if you haven't gone forward and listened to the old episodes, you know, the interviews, we have literally thousands of hours of interviews of just Rastafari people talking about their uprising. You know what I mean? It's an invaluable archive. We have the most Rastafari woman voices on the planet. There is no equivalent to the voices of Rastafari women that you can find on this platform. These are things that have never been done. I'm at the point of I trod. If it's not making history, I don't have no interest in it. You know what I mean? If it's not gonna make history, then why? You know? So that is where I am with Iman Chad, over 20 years on the battlefield. McCunnin know him because McCunnin and I linked when I was in law school. So, you know, Brother Carl know, these ones know I from, I just start put on locks. You know what I mean? We know Brother Carl and Brother Roy. They saw I from Howard University coming up, you know what I mean? So we're at the stage now where, as I said, the so petty differences, them think they're boring and they're a distraction. And we know that it's very clear who's coming to work. What we didn't have before that is unique in this era is the technology. The workers who are few in each region can now connect with other workers from other regions, and now the numbers can escalate. You know what I mean? We've never had that before, and that is what is happening. It's a joy when I'm networking with someone and I introduce them and I can just send them an interview of that person on Lion Voice Network. You get your whole background right there, you know what I mean? So you can just watch the episode, learn everything where you need to know, so you can just plug in one time, you know what I mean? No long talking. That is a joy for I, you know. I don't know how the eye them see it, but that is a joy for I, because we're breaking down those barriers, not just Jamaica, not just Barbados. You know what I mean? We're having races from all over. I just reason with a brethren in Burkina Faso. You think Lion Voice not going to have the races in Burkina Faso have a voice, King? Don't think that, because you don't know I then. We're working on it. It's just Wi-Fi, the guy trying to fight us right now, but we're going to find a way to bring the voices from Burkina Faso on the ground. There's a Rastafari community there. You know what I mean? We're reasoning with Rastas all over the continent right now, and they're going to be featured on the platform. So it's not just I and I in the West fantasizing about Africa. Born and bred Rastas in Africa. If you haven't seen our interview with Honorable Mike Pam from Nigeria, the man broke down the whole Biafra conflict. This is a history lesson. Big up Lion Pride, John Rogers, Patreon member, respected Carl Philpott for the testimony of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, the first defender of the faith. These are great works. Brother Carl is a historical figure in the movement. We have him with us right now. You know, the original brethren, Brother Carl, the first 12 tribe tried to Ghana. Daddy Basco, I have to call Brother Carl name. I don't even get a chance to reason with you about that, Brother Carl. I have to bring you on about that trip that day I made to Africa in the 80s, you know what I mean, and Mama Valerie. I don't even bring Mama Valerie on here. If you think Brother Carl and Ross Woolly nice, wait till you see Mama Valerie on the platform. We have so much wealth, you know what I mean, as a people. And as a community, we just have to believe in ourselves. We have to heal the wounds. We have to trust each other. You know what I mean? Become a member of the Patreon. Don't sit on the fence. I know you watch. We have over 1,000 pieces of content on the platform right now. We have demonstrated over the last 3 years consistency, commitment. You know what I mean? But I don't want to continue doing this from my yard. We need to build a studio. We need to scale. And the only way to be independent is when the people are the accountability, when they are your funders, because once you depend on the sponsors, then them can have talk and them can cut you off. Ismail tell us this, you know, collective security is a principle that we have to really look into. That is Zion. That is how we free ourselves from the beast. collective security. You know what I mean? Each one have them own ecosystem, and then when we combine them, nothing can fall because everybody have them ecosystem, and we connect. You know what I mean? That is the future. You know, decentralized, but we centralize at the same time. You know what I mean? We have to learn to agree to disagree. I hail Haile Selassie as the Almighty without apology. You know what I mean? A brethren might see his mind say a little different. That no means that me and the brethren they fight each other. You know what I mean? When we agree on 99% of everything else, that don't make no sense. And we don't have a school, and we don't have a healthcare center, we don't have a grocery store. No, that don't make no sense. And yet still the whole world is using what our elders didn't miss one thing. Plant-based is a worldwide phenomenon which we call ITAL. The herb as the healing of the nation. Nobody, not one of the elders knew about the endocannabinoid system when they said the herb was the healing of the nation. This was an intuitive vibration. Is the scientists have to come and tell us about the endocannabinoid system within man, and that there are receptor sites for the THC within every human being. We never know them thing there. Them just know the Asian chad with them chad, and they were vindicated by history. You know what I mean? Eco-friendly becomes a worldwide phenomenon. Grounding, all of these things the elders them never miss. Repatriation is not Rastafari people leading repatriation. Brother Carl, let me ask the a question. You're coming from the 60s. Did you ever think that you would live to see what is happening with the return with people in Ghana, people from all over who are not Rastafari people returning to the continent in their numbers, and it's increasing every year? What do you think about this, living to see these things?
Well, first of all, I give thanks to for life. And greetings to Bongo Wisely. I didn't heal him up. Respect my brother and all the other brethren who are on the live stream here. Yeah, we have always lived for that. In 1985, as a youth, walking the strad, going up to Warwick Hill amongst the races, them learning from Sam Clayton, Douglas Mack, Fillmore, Loranga, Sam Brown, all those elders when you used to go to high school, invite them down to speak to the youth in sixth form, where we usually invite speakers once a month to come there and speak. So, why I mentioned that after hearing so much about Africa and from youth and talking so much, it was a burning desire for me myself to go and see what we're talking about. And reaching there, we ran into Brother Bosco. We went to Ghana and a whole heap of youth, and the youth them was saying, "Oh, come so much Rasta talk about Africa and nobody not coming. Them hear the music, them love the music, but them not see nobody coming." So, on returning after I went to Ghana, went to Tanzania, then we went to Ethiopia, and that is 1985. Came back with a report to the brethren that, so the youth them, enough youth over there want to say Rastaman come. So the brethren organized, and we made another trip there in 86. A couple brethren going back to Ghana, going to this time to Nigeria, Ghana, where we met some Rastafari youth in Nigeria, Black Rice Osaji and Raskimono, those are the brothers. And then the brethren from Nigerian brethren used to live, the Ghana brethren used to live in Nigeria. They were deported back to Ghana. So that's the group of brothers we meet, Brother Basco and some other brethren, and from there, so that link started. As to the brethren in the United States who are not even Rastafari who desire to go to Ghana, it is not a real surprise to us to see that trend, because we know that a lot of the movements towards Africa came from out of the United States. The Ethiopian World Federation was there for a long time. From the inception, in fact, the rallying point, the center of the rallying point was there at the university where you went to Howard University, where Dr. Malako Bayan went. And also you had also in New York, Lenox Avenue, Harlem, you had the black churches, which was a place like the Ethiopian Abyssinian Church and many others. And many of these, Edward Blyden and all these great Pan-Africanists, and many of these pastors, Booth and all them, they went with Dr. Malaki Ben to visit his modesty in Bath. And they being lawyers, some of them, they had the 501c3 charter or guidelines, and they created a preamble to put with it that we are black people of the world in order to effect solidarity, unity, and to carve for ourselves a place in the sun, hereby endorse Ethiopian World Federation. Must endorse that. So, that movement from there, which that message would never die. It went out throughout the black population. So that heritage and tradition and that those works of Marcus Garvey were instilled in the people in America. So it's no surprise that you see people going there now, especially when they see that this whole civil rights struggle being reversed. They try to let you know the boy much change has been made, but you see just one leadership change come and them trying to undo all that had been accomplished. So people looking to Africa right now, and many of these people from United States, Pan-Africanists, they're looking to it. They're looking to Africa. So we give thanks to see that, and the practical steps, though, as I was mentioning, to implement community development in Africa, and it take a serious, as I was mentioned, the Rasquazi, the sisters seem more serious than the brethren, because most of the brethren delight in just the smoking and the talking and the controversies. But the sisters, because they bear the children, they want to see a future for their children. So they are more energized to push to see something done. And so we give thanks for them, because can a mother tender care cease towards the child she bear? So they are making practical steps, and not just the 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 fun aspect of Rastafari, which is smoking and listening music, but actually making sacrifices. All this work takes sacrifices. When we were youth, even till this day.
Stick a pin, brother Carl. Stick a pin. I just want to make it clear that brother Carl said the man them lazy. Them lazy.
No,
I just want to translate because it's very intellectual. The man them lazy. You're smoking, you're drinking, you're there reason. And when we look at the works, we're not really seeing how so much man about and we don't have infrastructure. He's saying you're lazy.
Yeah.
Continue, brother Carl. Sorry.
Yes, we the Belgium healing Toure. It's one of the drawbacks of our movement is the entitlement mentality. We think that somebody must come do this thing for us. Whether it's the Marley family, whether it's the Queen of England, whether it's this or that. Instead of his master, we first have to look to the Almighty and then within ourselves and be something that we have never been, larger in outlook. You understand? So it is rest upon I and I. No one, some looking to the crown prince of Ethiopia, some looking here and there. No, we have to look within ourselves. No one going to come and put a nipple buckle in our mouth. We have to make the first move. We have all the resources, the human resources, as Brother Kwasi mentioned. It's just, as we were taught, even from the time of Prophet God, that on earth here, yes, Satan was kicked out of the heavenly places and come down, but Michael and his angels came down after him. So there's a great battle taking place here. We have all the people. It's just for them to come together. Him said, the Rastafarian brethren are united, only waiting to come together. So it's to find the right people who can function, put aside the ego tripping, put aside the personalityism, and work for the unity. What will unite us is the common interest that we have. Philosophy, ideology won't unite us. Every man has the right to have his own belief. But now we have a common interest. If we move in a table, all of us can hold one part of the table and lift it and put it over here. So we have to work together. But we have a common interest in developing Africa. We have a common interest to lift up the families. We have a common interest for food, clothes, and shelter. We can work together. All we have to do is find, as Garvey said, honest people. What the race lack is men of honesty. That is what it says. There in Ethiopia, we as a British, we have to build institutions, as Brother Kwasi said and Brother Makanen mentioned, institution building. We need to, like in Ethiopia, yes, we have a small project which is educating children, a school that we have worked, Shashamane Foundation, to help to build there. Over 500 children go there. But when people said to me, boy, that's a great work, I said, boy, I'm sorry, we have so much Rastafari bridging throughout the world, and this is only what we have done, build an institution that people can see tangible and touch. That don't say that others haven't made contributions in Ethiopia, because Virgin from a long time, build well, bring water into certain areas and all that, but tangible institutions that people can touch and see, say, says Rastaman, do this. That's why these things now offset many of the negative vibes we may receive from Ethiopian people, that we are there not doing anything, In any country in Africa, you only can offset that vibes by doing something, bringing something to the table. So that is what must be our focus. Bring something to the table. And I'd also say, wherever we are as Rastafari Brethren, we must work to help that community that we live and grow in. The hungry must be fed, naked, clothed, sick, nourished. It's not that we're waiting for Africa to do that. If we wait to go Africa to do that, we won't be doing anything. We have to learn to dance a yard before we go abroad. So in any community ways, even if we have a little soup shop in any of the communities in the Caribbean, in our community, and feeding the hungry, the people see, because the people look into Rasta, but them don't say we doing, them say we're talking, and yes, them echo what to say, yeah, you're Rastafari, and but no, we want tangible things. The hungry be fed, the sick nourished, and infants be cared for. We have to be doing things. These things are not difficult. Even in Ethiopia, as I mentioned to the Virgin, it only take around 50,000 US dollars to maintain a school for a year. That is the salary of one teacher in the United States, to pay a staff of 32 members and to take care of 450 children. So what it shows, what a little that we have here can do much over there. We some waiting for the millions to come and the big to know. It takes, just plant a tree. We must each try to plant one of the trees to build a forest, as is our motto, or to lay a block to build a building. Don't bother say you wait for this and that. No, put your in your pocket and go and say, I am going to help with this project. I see anywhere I am, anything that is for the upliftment of our people, we must support it. So for these viewers, I give thanks, and we don't want to hold no more time at the bridging, but that is what we see.
Give thanks, Brother Carl. I want to welcome another one of our elders, Bongo Grease, coming in from Trinidad, live from Trinidad and Tobago. There was a big march in Trinidad for Ibrahim Traore that took place on African Liberation Day. We're going to get an update. Bongo Grease, welcome. Ancient of the Nyabing Girls and one of the cheers of the All Manchan of Rastafari that led the march. Bongo Grease, please introduce thyself and just give us a little update.
Yes, I. Glory to word, glory to song, glory to the power of the ever-living I and Empress and I. One perfect love, Yes, Bongo Grease, corporate secretary and acting chair of the All Manchans and Rastafari in Trinidad over the last 15 years. Concerning the event, I'm also a member of the Repatriation Committee and still on, a lot of Rastafari committees globally. Haile, Selassie. Yeah, concerning the event in Trinidad and Tobago, it was a real first event, I mean, a real nice glorifying event celebrating the Organization of African Unity Day, also AU Day, because this day is very, very special to Trinidadians because of the fact of the role that, many of our leaders play in that process. Because when we take into consideration, the OAU was formed in 1963, 25th of May 1963. And 3 years after that, Dr. Eric Williams invited His Majesty to visit Trinidad in 1966. When His Majesty reached here, he got a lot of support for the OAU. However, there was one particular figure in Trinidad and Tobago who really made it happen. A guy by the name of George Padmore. George Padmore was an advisor to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and he was given the mandate to set up or form the committee for the creation of the OAU. And that soon followed after by the two conferences, which was the Casablanca and Monrovia conference. So George Padmore played. So again, as I indicated, I mean, the early time 66, though Jamaica had a lot of Rastafari brethren, Trinidad was now picking up, we had Black Power, but however, we always have a very strong Pan-African origin in Trinidad and Tobago. We even had more branches of Marcus Garvey of the UNIA than even his birthplace, Jamaica, in Trinidad, highly high. So the event here was, it brought forward, it was spearheaded by the All Mansions of Rastafari, the Nation of Islam, the Black Caucus, the Black Agenda, the Emancipation Support Committee, Trade Union, and other civil societies came together, under the whole African consciousness in solidarity with Brother Ibrahim Sherry. Because, we realized that, the cycle is changing, the cycle is changing. And as a young fella, what he is action driven. And today we are very proud in what he actually represents as Trinidadian. So hence the reason why I find that even at the event, we had the Orisha elders, all the old Orisha people came out. Then we had African Unity. African Unity is a group of Rastafari brethren who has incorporated the Yoruba tradition within their movement. So when that particular sect come out, you would actually hear Yoruba chants, Yoruba songs as Rastafari. And then you had the Nyabingi, the 12 tribe, the Bobo Shanti, and then you had other Rastafari, brethren and sisters who came out and make a whole contribution. So they were very powerful speeches on that day.
Stick up in there, stick up in Bongo Grease. Hold the camera so we can see the eye countenance. Yeah, man, because the camera keeps shifting. We want to see the eye countenance. Give thanks. Continue.
Yeah, so they were very powerful brethren and powerful sisters at that event, really highlighting the cause of Africa, because we have to take into consideration that we have reached a time when every minute, every second count for something done, something achieved in the cause of Africa. And, for years we've been watching most of these old leaders in Africa who are just puppets. So this young fella, he represents something, because we understand that as Rastafari, we have to be prepared. We have to educate. We have to mobilize. And most of all, we have to agitate, because agitation is what really brings action. Just as mobilization, organization, mobilization and organization must be followed by a positive centralization, because we can't mobilize and then organize. Because for years, Rastafari speaking about the accepted goal. Unity is the accepted goal. Yet when we really look at it, we are so isolated. We are very isolated. So I agree with the brethren who spoke earlier, where he indicated that the sisterins are really making, as the mamas, as the mothers, are really making a stronger call, because, the future of their children. And that's true. What we have today is that most of the brethren are totally isolated. We are isolated from each other. We are isolated by dietary laws, dietary laws, monarchical arguments, real petty arguments that separate us. when the truth and in fact we speak about unity, we speak about repatriation. But the fact of the matter is Rasta who is holding back Rasta, you know. So as the vanguards of Pan-Africanism, in the early initiation of Rastafari, there was a very strong calling where the respect was even higher among the communities, because it is Rastafari who had shown people that Africanness, that African consciousness within themselves. And people did heed the call, you know. But today, when we look, because of our isolation and because of the things that separate us, you know, it is causing a lot of, you know, a lot of friction, you know, within the society and within the public. So it means that within, as we celebrate the whole OAU Day, we do understand that Rastafari first have to fix the crack in the foundation in order to get the structure, you know, rebuilt again. Because it's like, you know, though the pillars of the house stand together to hold up the house, they all stand individually. But we must realize that we work collectively, you know. So, you know, there's much. But I'm very proud that, you know, the event in Trinidad and Tobago was was a grand event. You know, it was well respected and it was well attended by a whole cross section of the African society. Because at the end of the day, our works would say a lot. As I indicated to members at the event in Trinidad and Tobago, Usain Bolt offering to go to Usain Bolt offering to go to Burkina Faso to train youths. That's Pan-Africanism in action. And that's what we need to see Rastafari. It's not about talk. We need to see Pan-Africanism in action. We have to be action driven. You know, too many times we make these decisions, but in terms of mobilizing, organizing, and centralizing, which the All Mansion had really, this is the purpose of the All Mansion, bringing Rastafari together. You know, setting up economic development, economic business. You know, making sure that our children have the proper education, not necessarily Babylon education, but education that will equip them, you know, for a lifelong process, because education in itself is a lifelong process, you know. So, you know, it's much, my brethren, you know. But
Thanks.
again, diplomacy hangs in the ability to reason, and it's always good to see Rastafari brethren globally coming together to discuss our welfare and our well-being. Highly I, Selassie I,
Selassie first.
Rastafari.
This is why you hear I talk about the building of Zion, the Golden Age, these things, because if we don't have a idea of our outcome and where we're going, we're going to be wandering in the wilderness without purpose, without, you know, that urgency, that sense of urgency, because you become complacent, you're comfortable going to work, coming home, watch 2 games, listen some music, burn a spliff, and repeat, you know what I mean? But if you knew that, you know, we need to build the alternative to Babylon and it look like this and it have this kind of vibe, you know what I mean? You're going to be working toward that goal. And as brethren, I think we have not done a good job, because the nation rests on the brethren them shoulders. We have not done a good job of articulating that vision, coming together as brethren. And I want to talk to one of my officer corps brethren here, McConnell. Discipline, you know. McConnell will tell the them when he used to come and check I in DC as Rastafari youth, we up at 5 a.m. You know what I mean? Exercise core. We're doing all these things before we touch the chalice, or we're going to, you know what I mean? I think that there's too much loosey-goosey going on right now. I want the eye to really talk to I McConnell, because McConnell is a brethren who studied the imperial orders of His Majesty, the you know, the structure of how to execute, you know what I mean? Talk to us about that part of this golden age, because the golden age is not a hippie, you know, every free-for-all golden age. The golden age of structure, the golden age is that majesty, that dignity. Talk to us about that, and then I want to hear the I perspective, same way, Haile culture. Unmute thyself, fire. Oh, sorry, I got it. Go ahead.
Yes, Abed. Well, I would want to say integrity, which is the honor code, is the main value going forward. Integrity is loyalty, sincerity, uh, courage, determination, belief. Now, if you possess these qualities, you will be able to execute the work of the emperor seamlessly because that's the level he wanted this work to be done at. Because in the military, the higher you go, is the less people at the top because the grades, there's less doctors than nurses, so to speak. So that's the problem amongst us. We need leaders. We need people who want to motivate, influence, and build institutions that the unborn could inherit. Because the golden age you're talking about is we obviously talking about the unborn. The emperor mentioned the unborn in his constitution. So his vision was not rear view, but always ahead. What is it we putting in place? You know, what pillars, the tenets that we acquire from Rastafari, how are we going to translate it into uh, like a cohesive front? Uh, a main problem we have is personality cult. We've been distracted by personality cult for a number of years. I, as a leader, uh, would want to say that sacrifice is the key to achieving any goal. So we need uh, brethren with greater vision and to participate collectively. Uh, the media uh, platform that you create is like a stone thrown in water that create ripples. So I really give thanks for being on this platform and being one of the stones thrown into the pond, creating the ripples. Like this brother is one of the ripples.
Uh, Bless. Yes, I. I pretty much concur with what the brethren say. As I know the brethren, I know him likewise as the brethren who's of militancy and discipline and, really showing these aspects of the living. And so, I pretty much concurred, and I would commend ones and ones on the line likewise, as even in Ethiopia and I see the works likewise, brother called Phil Potts and his son and family with the school. Yeah, and I know that many youths graduate from the school and they would have many drives, school supply drives and these things. Yeah, it's held in high esteem amongst the community. So I commend these things and even Kwasi and this current program, I commend the 40,000 subscribers and these efforts that shine the light on the positive works that's taking place where it does not often get broadcasted or not on the public medium, it might not be shown. So they give thanks that they have some mediums such as this, whereas one can see the actual golden age manifesting through the different pockets of ones. I feel it's an effort that brings I and I closer to that centrality. Yes, I feel.
Give thanks. I
And
want
could
to.
I end with one quote?
Yes,
Um,
go
I have
forward.
a quote here from His Majesty's public trust prayer. And it says, to protect our freedom, one must be brave. Those unwilling to carry their own weapons will be compelled to bear the burden of an enemy's weapon. So we have to carry our own weapons in order to achieve that golden age, so to speak. I'm taking a leave.
Give thanks. And I want the people to know that Ras Haile culture is one of the brethren I plan when we have the resources. You know, the brethren doesn't do animation currently, but I know if I drop a 6-figure check on the brethren, I'm going to have to go take an animation course because this brethren artwork, you know what I mean, the level, may I show there if we could have animated films with that style of artwork, you know what I mean? Yeah, I got turn I down if I come with $1 million to the day I do our Ras Island culture. How that would I look?
Man, unity is straight, man. Let's make it happen now, you know? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's within the endeavors, you know, for real, like,
Yeah.
the lion voice, yeah, man.
So you know, I want I and I to know that we have the resource people. What we lack right now is the capital, and we're not gonna get the capital by dreaming about it. It's the one cocoa full basket. You know what I mean? It's the $5, it's the $10. We have the numbers now where we can leverage, we can scale with minimal impact on an individual. For the, you know, a cup of coffee per month, you can be part of something historic and mightyful. You know what I mean? I shouldn't just have 35 lions in the Lion Pride and Patreon right now. I should have thousands. But I know that our community is wounded. We don't trust. We have trust issues. We're watching what the brethren dealing with. But you know what I mean? You suss out the thing. Then you go down the road and you buy some $5 and dash away some money upon something where you don't even care about. You know what I mean? I know that that's what I'm up against, and I'm willing to take that blow. You know what I mean? I'm willing to be diligent and do the work until the family catch up and say, yes, we need more of this. You know what I mean? We need a studio. I want to build a production studio on the continent, you know what I mean, where we can have different sets and we're filming Rastafari, different types of content, you know what I mean? Animated. I want to animate my book into an animated film, you know what I mean, with Haile Culture as one of the chief animators. You mean to tell me we can't do that? You know what I mean? This is not real. We can do it. And nobody's gonna come. Hollywood not going to finance that. And I tell you I them straight. You know what I mean? Hollywood not gonna finance that. Brother Carl, you know, supposed to be a best-selling author. This book here is, you know, seminal, a seminal work, you know what I mean? Why we can't put Brother Carl on the road on a lecture tour getting paid $10,000 for speak, you know what I mean, per speaking engagement, you know, a man of Brother Carl stature. You know what I mean? That's standard, you know,
We're
Brother Carl.
volunteer Ethiopians, my brother.
I
We
know
don't.
that. I know
We're
that.
ready
But
to go
that when
anytime,
your
because we have our reward already. So we're not
yes, I'm
really.
turning your manager just for a moment because I'm just saying the
Yeah,
mentality that we could be doing these things,
yeah.
you know what I mean, that other communities do, you know what I mean? Even in
Yeah.
the black church, you know what I mean, when they have speaking, you have some church when a man go speak there, it's 5,000 easy. You know what I mean? I've represented churches as part of other law firms, so I know, you know, what's happening. So there's no limit to what I and I can do, but we have to get out of this poverty is righteousness mentality. You know, that is one of the things that's false doctrine that's holding us. If you're poor, if a man make money, then he's a wicked. and some backward type of thinking. His Majesty shows us how to move with resources. To I, that is one of the gifts of Kadamawi Haile Selassie. The first, he show you how to move through the eye of an eagle, because it's easier for a camel to enter through the eye of an eagle than for a rich man to enter Zion. There's only one way to enter Zion as a wealthy man, and that's Rastafari way. That is to I, because every revolution pop down once the people them get money. You know what I mean? Unless they trod Rastafari way, which is what? Rastafari gave everything to the people, so it's a loop. The people, yes, support his businesses and in private, but then he take those businesses and invest forward into building schools, into building churches, into building roads, into doing all of these things for the nation. This is Zion that we're talking about. We're the ones with the resources are committed to rise the standard of living of those who are less fortunate. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean we're not to make money. And as Rastafari brethren, I'm glad it's just brethren on the line. We have to talk to each other, because the weight falls on us. You know, I hear a lot of men talking about what the sister doing. I'm not comfortable as a man in this Armageddon war. Our sister them up on the front line and we on the back say, look what the sister know them nice, man. Look how them a fight. You want some water, sister? You need a glass. Me not dep on that. You know what I mean? Yes, the sister them after dep on the battlefield, but that means we supposed to either front or side of them at least. You know what I mean? We can't sit down and talk about what the sister them doing, and we not doing anything, brethren. I'm not comfortable like that, even if it's I and two or three brethren alone. We have to dep on the front line. Me not put my sister in front of eye if you take no bullet right now. Me I tell the eye them the truth. You know what I mean? Freeway Dread. Yes. One of our trucking brethren. And I need to meet Prince William, my next brethren in the trucking industry. You know what I mean? So two of our trucking family on the line. Introduce yourself, Freeway Dread, one of our Lion Pride on Patreon. Introduce thyself, King. Unmute.
Oh, you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Freeway Dread. And where you from? Let them know where you from, too.
I'm from Fort Myers, Florida. I'm Southwest Florida. Yes, I just want to say 10 I used to listen to the whole family, especially the elders. Right now, the area that I'm in, the internet not so good. It's shaky. But what I want to say, just I had to drop a few notes and say, yes, Rastafari is headed towards a golden era. If you know history a little bit, you will know that there was a roaring 20s, and right now we are in the roaring 20s again. Hence the lion's voice. So that should tell you right then and there we in the roaring 20s all over, and you know we have the 100 years coming up. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, man. It sound
Okay.
good. It sound good. It sound good. Continue.
Okay. So basically, yes, I agree with the majority of what the whole panel said tonight. I actually had to stop just to drop some notes. I was still rolling. And
Okay.
also, just to give a shout out to all of the virgin who do trucking, and even the families that do trucking as well. And if you would allow me, I would just give them a quick shout out, not long at all, just to illustrate how many Rastafari truckers there are on the road. So I would say Ross Cool Running, Ross Damien, Ross Dave, Ross Asani, Ross Isaac, Ross Links, Ross Punchy, Ross Rubin, Ross Tom, Ross Trey Dread, Ross Wiley, Ross Wise, Ross Junior. That's a lot of truckers. It's a lot of truckers.
Hold on. Add Prince William. Prince William, you need to link with me,
Yeah.
brethren. You need
Hey,
to
I
link
appreciate
with
that,
me,
Prince
brethren,
Williams
right
too.
away. We need a truckers, Rastafari Truckers Association family.
Exactly.
a great idea. That's a great idea.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even if the item just communicate, we need that immediately. Make sure that you both of the
Logistic.
item and the Patreon, so you can make that link in the Patreon. You know what I mean? Because both of the item are there already. We'll make that link in the Patreon. This is what's happening,
And
fam.
logistics. We
Lion
got
Voice.
logistics.
You think a ramping the man doesn't list off how many Rasses and trucking and Babylon breakdown
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah,
need
yeah.
to be. Trucking
People
is
say,
essential for any immunity. You know what I mean? So when I talk about the ecosystem family and the Rastafari global ecosystem, I want the item to see how His Majesty work. You know what I mean? His Majesty is rising up the ones them to fulfill the work in all different regions. And it's global. It's not just America. These two brethren, trucking brethren, born and raised in America, they're not Jamaican brethren. They're not from Ethiopia. His Majesty called them as Black Americans to do this work in this hour. You know what I mean? That's what's going on right now, family. And one of the reasons, because I contemplated as a business person, do I make this platform so heavily Rastafari centric? And I said I have to do it. I knew it was gonna take a lot longer because I could have went just straight artists. I could have went just industry, big names, go that way, legal, whatever, go that way. But one of the reasons I did is because I know even we don't know the full power of Kadamawi Haile Selassie the first in this digital space. You know what I mean? We don't even know the work that he's done, you know what I mean, quietly over decades, you know what I mean, rooted in the hearts of mankind. You know what I mean? We have to see it for ourselves because sometimes, yes, you have that faith, but to see it demonstrated is a different thing. And as I said, if we can rise even 10,000 lions to roar $5, $10 a month, you know how we're going to shake this earth? When we can actually fund things like the Yoshima Bet Foundation in Jamaica and staff, the sister and them who are washing the elders' locks and cutting their toenails and giving them blood pressure. These things supposed to be funded. You know what I mean? The Shashamani Foundation, the school. You know what I mean? These things supposed to be fully funded and expanding. Health center, this, that. There are so many worthy works that are happening, so many workers that who are volunteer Ethiopians. You know, you heard Brother Carl say he's a volunteer Ethiopian when we start talk about throw 10,000 talking in upon him. Because that's how we're trained. You know what I mean? But we should be in a position to say, yes, I know you're a volunteer Ethiopian, but hold this 10 grand and do what you will. That is where I want to get our movement. And that can happen when you have 10,000 people give $1. It don't have to be hard, you know what I mean? And as we get to the numbers, the 100,000 subscriber, we're gonna have the numbers, family. This is what I try to show you. It don't have to be hard. It can be $1. You know what I mean? It can be $2, it can be $5. And we can fund the ones there who need to get the money in their hand. The fiat currency is gonna crash. Babylon will fall. It's falling. And if you see the price of gold, where is the gold mine that we own as a collective? You know what I mean? Where's our mining company where we have a Rastafari gold mine and we have with gold deposits that are providing endowments for our schools. So each school have a gold endowment. Where is our? That's all we need to be thinking right now. You know what I mean? As we return to the continent with our fiat currency, we still have leverage because enough of us are in countries whose money still have significant value on the continent. But we have to pool those resources, connect with our brothers and sisters on the ground who are doing works, make sure they're fully funded, that they can hire staff, and let's get this thing going. I mean, yes, it's happening, but we can accelerate it too. You know what I mean? As a family, using this platform and other platforms to really get this thing going. We can change the face of creation in 6 months if we're serious, family. You know what I mean? Prince William, oh, my sound.
Say that again, me brethren.
Yeah, how do I sound? Am I making sense?
Yes, you making perfect sense. Yes, yes, I.
What do you think the role of the truckers could be in this Rastafari ecosystem after you link up with Freeway Dread? How the truckers can come together in this golden age?
Well, we'll be able to move our own stuff. That'll be a start right there to be able to move our own stuff, our own product, whatever type of cargo that you know that'll make us money. We can move it. We'll be able to move our own, and that's what it's about. Self building our just building the ecosystem.
Yes, I, and that's also something we need to look in terms of taking the truckers to Africa, because they're building with the Belt and Road Initiative. The Trans Africa Highway is being built right now, connecting the African countries. So if we have experienced truckers already and we can go over there and start a trucking company collectively, and now we're shipping between Burkina Faso to Ghana to, you see, man, I said, this is how we build wealth. We got to be strategic as brethren. I don't want you to tell me, say we need to wait upon the sister and them to rise up the nation, family. I'm not in that camp with them. I tell you, them brethren, them need to come together and set this order. I'm competitive. So that is my flaw, I have too much testosterone, but I don't know. But that is how I see it as a male lion. Is I and I to come together and set the architecture, So it's not a coincidence that we have two brethren who deal with trucking on the line today. And again, these brethren are both in the Lion Pride and Patreon. They both are supporting with their hard-earned money that they make on the road. What are some of the things that you want to see from the Lion Voice Network moving forward, Freeway Dread? You're one of our earliest supporters and you never leave us. And I mean, what do you want to see from the platform as we grow?
Town hall meeting, um, like the Virgin Hamilton Brown said, we have to speak on the differences and offline, but we have to speak on the differences. We have to speak on what we agree with from what we don't disagree with, not in an argumentative fashion, more so so everybody know where everybody stand, so to speak. So, but in general, it will be more dialogue with each other. I would say that more conversations with each other or more reasoning with each other. And when I don't mean senseless reasoning. No, I'm talking about concrete plans. The others said we have to repair the cracks in the foundation, and I think it's more than one crack. So we have to talk about it.
Yeah, man.
We have to talk about it. We have to talk about it on just different channels offline, or whether it's a different Zoom or a different town hall meeting. We have to talk about it. We have to get some of these things out of the way. So basically, to keep it short, that's what I would say. We have to talk about it more, and we have to move on it once we have the result of our talks, because it just can't be babbling and babbling. So it just, as soon as we have to put it on the table, fix it. That's what I believe we should do. More town hall meetings, put it on the table, fix it.
Bongo Grease. Am I incorrect by putting so much responsibility on the brethren them to step up right now and really execute to make this golden age happen? Are we gonna sit and watch our Pan-African brothers and sisters, stand up beside Ibrahim Traore and be the face of this united Africa, and we don't have a role in shaping? What is the responsibility of Rastafari brethren in this hour, Bongo Grease?
Yeah, well, I think that there is an awakening, there is an awakening because at this point we are seeing, a young leader being driven with purpose. And as the progenitors, of Africanists, Rastafari, as the vanguard, we have to step up. And I know that with this awakening right now, you know, there's a lot of inner search. There's a lot of inner search within man and man, you know, as to the purpose, the responsibility, I mean, to the welfare and well-being of those, it's not about ego, and I have a work to do, and I here for a purpose, and, I mean, His Majesty, His Majesty fine I, so I and I have to work, so I think that, seeing what's happening on the continent with Brother Ibrahim, with the youth Ibrahim Traore, I think that the conversation and the consciousness and the conscientiousness among Rastafari families globally will now, start to pick up in a much different way because, I mean, we realize our importance in terms of repatriation because we see what is happening. We want a liberated Africa. We want a free Africa. Just as today when we watch Ibrahim Traore, we would hope that we would see, a military base with African volunteers rather than 700 Koreans and that kind of thing. So we know we have a responsibility, African and with its creators. We know we have a responsibility and the time is now upon us. So I mean, I see in the future, even within the diaspora here, you know, something something is going to happen. The time is now. Something is going to happen. We can't wait no more longer in terms of sleep and slumber. Rastafari.
Give thanks, give thanks. Bongo Wisely, please share your thoughts on the topic and what you think. Next steps, there I was the reigning chair of the CRO, now on the board as the former chair. CRO is evolving. We're starting to see more reasonings about the progress and less arguing and bickering. What are the next steps to this golden age, Bongo Wisely? Unmute thyself. Unmute
Yes,
yes,
I
I.
give thanks, Rastafari. Yeah, you hearing me?
Yes, I.
Yes, I. As is I. Yes, I. Well, as we move into the golden age, as we say, it's an era we've
Go on,
as
bro.
though we've passed through the age of now we reach maturity and we now move golden age as Rastafari. We've gone through trials and crosses, tribulations, but then, as we say, that is what build I and really have I. The level of resilience and the fortitude and, which we possess today is as a result of the trials and crosses which Rastafari went through. So, yeah, man, so the time is now coming, because remember, at the League of Nations, His Majesty addressed the League and indicated to them that international morality is at stake, meaning within their decision making, they have no moral consideration. It's either money or political or some other reason, but morality was put in the back bench. Hence, even when we look at from the OAU coming right to now to the African Union, one of the aims of the OAU was to fight against colonialism in any form, whatever it would manifest itself, meaning to a serious decolonization program, you know. And that is where the initial fathers from the 60s, they set a standard. 63 coming right through, but then somewhere along the line, you know, it get watered down, because again, the strategy of the colonialists was to, whenever they get rid of the leader and they feel, well, everything crashed, because a number of our leaders were assassinated, with the assistance of the colonizers, you know. So in this time there, as we say, the time is now, like His Majesty say, we have gone through the Armageddon, you know. The victory is not yet total, but it's on the horizon. And we can see even within the stance of the AES countries, under the astute guidance of Captain Traore, we can see that morality, moral values, moral principles is within his decision making, you know, and hence even why we see over 21 attempts have been made on the life of the brethren, but somehow again licked down, the powers of His Majesty is guiding the revolution, you know. So definitely, Rastafari has a role to play. Yes, because that is the true liberation of Africa, you know. And Rastafari is head creator, you know. So gone are the days when Rastafari would say about burn organization and fire burn this and fire burn that. The fire has burned everything, and what has come out is gold, shining gold, So right now is nation building, you know. And what we would love to see even from the Caribbean region, those CARICOM heads. Normally, I think July, they have their CARICOM summit, Would love to hear their position as it pertains to what is happening within the AES countries. Plus, I think September 7th is African Union CARICOM Day, So we would love to hear the position of our leaders within the Caribbean region as to what is happening in Africa today, the revolution, And as I said, Kwasi, the works the brethren do is the works of His Majesty. It's a continuation, the decolonization of the minds of the people. Bob Marley said it, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Because look at the grip in which France had them countries, and those leaders before, as they was afraid, they felt as though they could not come underneath that grip which France had them under. But Traore, Niger, Mali, showing them that it can be done. And now we can see that the pool is widening. More countries joining in, you know. As we say, the countenance of one brightens that of the other, you know. Yeah. So Rastafari have to be prepared, you know, so we have to, in terms of getting ourselves, as His Majesty say, organize, centralize, and come as one, you know.
Give thanks, give thanks,
I
give
heard
thanks.
there he spoke about Kwasi, about in Burkina Faso. It would be good to hear, you know, what is their vibes, you know, as to what is happening and what in what way. I don't know if they are in communication with the Arab, you know, but it would Rastafari has a role to play in that new Africa which will be coming through. Give thanks, Rastafari.
Rastafari. And just so the family know, we are in hold on a second here. Hold on a second here.
You gotta talk back.
You have to mute, yeah, you gotta mute your line. Mute your line there, Bunga Wise. Give thanks. So we are in touch with the Rastafari community in Burkina Faso. We're working on getting one of the foundation elders with an outer view. We've made a couple of attempts. The internet has not been very good. So we are working on it. So as soon as we have that, we'll be bringing that forward so you can hear on the ground what the Rastafari community, and they are members of the RCC. So I got the link through Daddy Bosco out of Ghana, who gave me the link for Brethren Mike Pam in Nigeria, who gave me the link for Brethren them in Burkina Faso. So I will be reasoning with all of the different ones from the different regions of Africa on the Lion Voice Network. So make sure that the item subscribe. We're going to be bringing all of those voices from the continent, you know, one by one. Again, so we have a realistic view of how Rastafari is evolving on the continent. The brethren from Nigeria said there's at least 1,000 Rastas in Nigeria. You know what I mean? I never know that. Now, Nigeria is the most populous country, over 200 million people. And a very small fraction is Rastafari, but we can support that, you know what I mean, as a global family and whatever they're doing. I have told the Burkina Faso Rastafari I'm going to be sponsoring a project with them on behalf of the Lion Voice Network. So that's something I'll be sharing with the Lion Pride. We're working on what that looks like. I told them to bring forward a proposal. So the ones them are working on a proposal, and it will, you know, part of that is that they will document it with video so that we can show it on the network. You know, we can highlight the works that they are doing and help to fund it because our dollar goes very far in Burkina Faso, you know, the US dollar. So this is another thing for the Lion Pride on Patreon. If you become a part of the Lion Pride on Patreon, it's not just this platform. We're going to be sponsoring things within the Rastafari community. And in return for them videotaping and providing us with the content, you know, we want to be able to fund certain works that are happening because it's a win-win situation. We get to see the works and showcase the works, and they get the capital, you know, from the collective, you know what I mean? So it's a way that we can come together and really make a difference in a short span of time. So I'm encouraging everyone that watches this to become a part of our Lion Pride on Patreon. Again, you can start at $5 a month. It don't have to hurt your pocket. That's $1.25 per strong. If you can't, as a big man, afford $1.25 per strong, You know what I mean? I don't know if to tell you. I would pray with you, but I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to tell you the truth. You know what I mean? I will pray with the eye, but I don't know what to tell you. If you cannot save $1.25 per strong to be a mission supporter at $5 a month. If you don't want to support, that is also Irie. You know, we love the eye them same way. If you don't want to support, but if you want to support, I'm just encouraging the ones come off of the fence, make we do the work. You know what I mean? The faster this platform grows, is the faster you're gonna see Rastafari, rise, because one thing we're lacking is capital, to employ staff, That is a word that we don't use in Rastafari organizations, a peer volunteer, you know. We need staff. We need full-time. A person get up, their job is to do all of the work. They can be fired too if they don't do what them in their job description. We need that family, you know what I mean? And somebody else get the work. Non-partial. So that is where I'm thinking. We're over 3 hours on this live, so I'm going to give everyone a chance to give a final sound before we seal up. My wife gone to bed, left me long time, the producer, because that is how it goes. But as a man, you see, may I tell the item, as a man, may I have to stand up on the back of field. You're going to let your woman front. No, Bridget, don't make it look so. Don't make it look so. You know what I mean? We as the man, them have to come up with something. You know what I mean? Even if we get sloop on the back of field, we have to at least try, my brothers. We can't give up, and we're gonna watch our sister and them fight the battle on our smartphone. Is that what we're talking about? That can't happen. I'm not in that number, even if it's I and brother Carl, I have to go out there. You know what I mean? we're going out there on the battlefield. We're not gonna make it look so. But big up the sister in them same way. It cannot be denied that they are rising and that they are, they're gonna make us feel shame if we just stay and they have all of the thing them and we depend upon them. It not gonna feel good as a man. I tell the them in advance, it won't feel good. Yes, they can do it, but it's not gonna feel good. So let's just avoid that and join them on the battlefield, protect them on the battlefield, and lead out on the battlefield as the Rastafari man with a standard. All right, so that's my little spiel. The golden age of Rastafari, His Majesty says. Let me just read something very quickly. Very, very quickly. I want to just read a quote from the selected speeches, and then I'm going to give everyone a chance to say a sealing sound, and we will continue. We are working right now. We have our series on Rastafari and STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We will be putting up our interview with Ras Pizzle shortly, a mathematician out of Clarendon, Jamaica. Sorry. So stay tuned for that interview coming up. We have a whole series of ones. We have a next mathematician down in Montego Bay. These are brethren who are solving complex algebra. The brethren have a mathematics curriculum. And we're going to link up these ones. That's another thing that we're doing here on the network. We're linking ones with like minds so that they can connect. Like you see how we did with the truck driver them. We're doing that with all manner of fields. As we identify the ones them, they need to link up. We are linking in our town hall meetings on Patreon as well. So join the Patreon if you want to get more in-depth as we strategize. Because the projects we support as a network, they will be selected by our Patreon. They will get a say in terms of what projects the network supports. So definitely be a part. Let me read this. Hold on. I'm reading. This is from the Beginnings of African Unity to the Accra conference. Let me. This is from. We're talking about the golden age of Rastafari. So I'm going to read from His Majesty. So everything I do on this platform is rooted in the word sound of His Imperial Majesty. I'm one of them brethren there, where I as an attorney, I like structure, statutes and laws and organization. So everything I deal with, I have a basis in the word of His Majesty. You might disagree, you might agree, but there's a basis from which we can reason. So this is His Majesty says that, let me read this. I'm going to read the whole paragraph. But dwarfing even man's material achievements in the 20th century has been the emergence of peoples all over the world into freedom and independence. This is 1958. Today, for the first time, men everywhere to whom freedom and independence were but a short time ago only words, and for whom economic and political self-determination were no more than far distant goals, have achieved the status of free men and are directing their efforts and energies to their own advancement. Does that sound like the Sahel countries to the item? Okay. We are particularly gratified and proud that this development has been so marked and widespread on the great continent of Africa. Listen to this part now. Africa will no longer be the unknown continent, for its human and material resources are beyond measure. Let me say that again. Africa will no longer be known as the unknown continent, for its human and material resources are beyond measure. And this great continent now stands on the verge. What does verge mean? It's coming. It's coming. On the verge of an economic, political, and cultural development which, when realized, will be without parallel in history. History is a long time, family. Let me read that again to the item, because I don't know if you see what I say. Africa will no longer be the unknown continent, for its human and material resources are beyond measure. And this great continent now stands on the verge of an economic, political, cultural. Notice that the first thing is economic. Notice this.
Morning.
On the verge of an economic, political, and cultural, because economics is the basis of politics. Politics is what sets the cultural architecture of the country, what's legal, what's illegal. All these things are set through regulation by politicians. All goods and services move. Everything is set through that, and that is controlled by what? Money, economics. Africa stands on the verge of an economic, political, and cultural development, which, when realized, will be without parallel in history. That to I sounds like a golden age, family. We're going to let everyone give their final remarks, and then we're going to say, seal up for this episode of the Lion Voice. We're celebrating 40,000 subscribers. We still have the 40,000 special episode, special guest to drop. I'm working on that, so stay tuned. You know that for 30,000, we had Kabaka Pyramid. For 20,000, we had, 30,000, we had Sister Carol. 20,000, we had Kabaka Pyramid. 10,000, we had Muta Baruka. 40,000 is loading. Special guests coming forward. We're very excited about that. So stay tuned for that. We will have the next one of these at 50,000 subscribers. So every 2-3 months, we have these where we open up the line and just take the temperature of the Lion Pride. So stay tuned for that. 50,000 is the next milestone. We are trying to reach 100 in the Lion Pride on Patreon. the paid subscribers. We need to hire an editor. We need more strength. We need graphics design. We need studio time to make different team tongue. We have a whole heap of works to do that cost money. So join the Lion Pride on Patreon so we can help to finance this uprising. We are building. We're not going to stop. That is one thing I can pledge to the item as the global family. I'm not stopping. We are moving forward. I have so much artillery in the cannon right now that is pre-recorded and ready to go out there. Trust me, some big interviews on the way, but we need resources to help speed up the. We need resources. So please join the Lion Pride on Patreon. Mute yourself, Bongo Wisely. Yes, we need Lion Pride on Patreon support. We need the family support so we can again accelerate the uprising. No reason we should have 35 out of 40,000 plus. You know what I mean? That don't look good. I don't feel good about it, but I will hold it because I'm back of feel angel. It can't embarrass I. You know what I mean? But there to do the work until the people them see it. So we're gonna start with the McCunnin Haile culture. Just give us your final sound to the global Lion Pride family. This is also the time if you have any works that you need wants to support to buy. You know the policy here on the Lion Pride family. Put money into people's pockets. So when we have guests here on the platform, the works that they're doing, the vision, 10,000 people, $10, 100,000 we put in a man's pocket. We have that power to do that right now, family, as the Lion Pride. So if there's anything works that the item want to share with the family, share, and then give us your final sound, and we'll go through everyone on the panel, so we can get the final sound before we see it. So McCunnin and Haile culture, final sounds and how the ones them can support the item works. Okay, hold on there. I have to unmute. Yes, I got you.
Yes, I must say again, give thanks to all the ones on the platform. As I said, it's like a stone thrown in a pond, rippling. So therefore, I would suggest that we focus our thoughts and our dreams and our freedom, and may the emperor, who's the guardian of our freedom, may he continue to give us the vision to fulfill his will. I'm going to say again.
Yes, sir. Give thanks and praise. We give thanks to be here. Give thanks for having our brother Kwasi. We give thanks to everyone on the panel, even in the audience. Yes, I was most positive. Man is very inspired by the reasoning, and I love to see peaceful reasoning and conducive reasoning going up. Man is in the vineyard at the Brethren Express, and I do a myriad of works. Man, once again, in agriculture. And, pray ones have a idolful evening going forward. And hope ones are in that common inspiration as One love.
Give thanks. I'm working Ras Haile culture. I want to be one of their main clients, man. I need their talents,
He was suggesting he's going to make a logo for the truckers.
Yeah, man. I mean, if ones don't know the levels of Haile culture, go to the Brethren platform, and one of the greatest artists I've ever seen, man. And I'm not just saying that because the Brethren is present. You know what I mean? Powerful. If I had the money, trust me, we would be making some serious moves, and when I have the money, not if. No,
We
but
the embryonic stage. We in the embryonic stage.
yeah, but not if. We're in the early days, So I'm just happy to know the brethren.
Embryonic.
Cause we have
Embryo.
fully for works for the king. So just keep sharpening. You know what I mean? We soon come link the eye with a budget to the powers of the king. Bongo Grease. Give us your final word sound and let the ones know how they can support the eye work same way.
Yeah, man. Haile, Haile, Selassie. Yeah, greetings. And two meetings here, Rastafari. Yes,
Yes, I.
give thanks, to all the brethren, on the platform over land and seas, nice, having positive reasoning because diplomacy hangs in the ability to reason, so it was great coming together this hour and holding a positive energy, towards that kind of enlightenment, positive enlightenment. As we say, all for one for all. Working in this manner is no failure.
Yeah.
Forward ever, backward never. So we look to continue, the progress of Lion Voice, who at this particular point in time is really bringing the light and keeping Rastafari flames burning, because nothing can be duly consecrated or sanctified without fire. And want her to understand the light. And with the light, you have to support the light, because the light will take wood, the light will take a match. You have to keep the flames. So, we call on all who really listening, all those who really, looking at the edification of the Rastafari, energy and Rastafari forwardment, to, you know, support, subscribe, support, in ways that everyone can tell a friend, so that the message could reach out to the younger ones. Because, I have a philosophy that, when you plant a tree, sometimes it doesn't eat any fruit, but sometimes you plant it for any return. Because someone of your grandchildren has always come out with all your tree. Highly, Rastafari.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, man.
So
One perfect love.
give thanks, Bongo Grease. Always honored by the attributions, and this is one of the brethren that in the history books when Trinidad and the global Rastafari history written, Bongo Grease name will be there. So I'm honored to share spaces with the eye virtually, and I look forward to meet the eye in the physical. One of the things I want to do is be the Rastafari Wodamaya, where we can travel to the different Rastafari regions with a camera and film the brethren them physically, do more vlogs and them kind of vibration where we're showing the levity, we're showing the settings. We want to do that work. So I'm fund this type of vision. I have a new camera that I'm learning to use. So, 4K quality will be coming forward. So we need this strength so that we can take it. I know that the them love the program them now, but this to I is just, as one say, embryonic. We want to step up world class level. And I mean that is the vision. Bongo Wisely, give us your final word sound and how the ones them can support the
This
eye.
is a great platform. Notice the people on it.
I like that open mic. I like that open mic talk there. It's spicy. Bongo Wisely.
Let them hear me now?
Yes, I hear the I know.
Yes, I. Isis, Rastafari, give thanks. Yeah, man. Well, as usual, we always give thanks, for the opportunity, to be on the Lion's Pride. It's a platform which, has grown in leaps and bounds, and right now it's 40,000 subscribers, that's give thanks for that, Kwasi. Yeah, man. Without the commitment which they have, exhibited over the years. with that program, and I know it will continue to grow and grow, with time, Rastafari. Yeah, man, and even as Rastafari entering the golden era, you know, I can see that we can lift our heads up high, you know, in spite of all the which we've endured, you know. That is our advocate, for where we are today, you know. And as we know, the victory is not yet total, but we continue to persevere and we continue to be more resilient and more committed, towards the cause, because we know it's a worthy cause, you know. Yeah, man. So we give thanks, for where we are today. And even within the Caribbean region, we have the Caribbean Rastafari organization. But within the golden era, we have to show that we have reached that level of maturity, where as a nation, we are properly structured, because the organized, centralized, come as one. That relates to structuring ourselves, disciplining our mind, to fit in within those structures. The organization has continued, from where we started off, up to today in terms of being like what you'd say the flagship of that unification where Rastafari coming as one. We continue, we continuing, to trod along, and there are one's family members who still, not yet within the fold, and like His Majesty did during the Passover, come and gather the flock. The call is out there, Rastafari, the time is now, come as one. The revolution in Africa is a sign for I and I as head creators. We're supposed to be ready to fit in our rightful place on the battlefield within that revolution, that new Africa, which is evolving, which is emerging right now. We cannot afford to be in the back bench. We have to be up front, So, brethren and sisters, in terms of, well, as I say, in terms of the support, the support is, as we say, it's a mental or educational support that is needed, because that new mindset, that new faculty of understanding, because what colonialism has done to us, up to now, some of us still underrate the damage what colonialism did to us, and we don't fully understand the magnitude of the change that is required, to bring back that holistic being, and that is what that revolution is all about right now, where moral principles will be at the forefront and not lacking or at stake. No, moral principles will have to be at the fore of our governance, our administration, as we move forward within that golden era. And that is what we're calling upon brothers and sisters, to rise to that occasion. That is what is required now. Man of integrity, sister of integrity, to carry the work within the golden era. 130 years, 100 years of the coronation of His Majesty. That is a milestone. So we should be prepared, to enter that era, fully structured, well organized as a people, you know. So that is the vibration, that is the calling now, as Africa is awakening. So we need to wake up within the Caribbean, the sixth region of Africa. Wake up and be part of that whole vibration, that whole revolution, you know. Yeah, man. So, and we give thanks for opportunities like, the Lion Pride. We know they will have a magniful role to play in bringing that revolution to light, you know, because it is no longer just Africa, because they have its role to play as well. Not only Rastafari, but all the Pan-African people. Now is the time, even calling upon our Caribbean leaders to take their stand. Yeah, don't remain silent anymore. Yeah, the AU has gone silent. Now is the time to wake up. You know. So Rastafari, later and I just continue the works and be prepared for that change. Some of us are afraid of change, but change begets change. That is what His Majesty show I and I. So be prepared as soldiers on the battlefield. Rastafari, one perfect love. Give thanks. Aye, aye. Wow.
I was muted the whole time. I was saying we're gonna go to the eye and then we go to Brother Carl. Just let the ones them know your
Okay. Evening
mute your
again.
line there, Bongo Wisely. Mute your line,
Otherwise,
Bongo
I
Wisely.
think you have to mute. Okay.
Yes.
Good evening again, everyone. There are many things I'd love to say, but in the interest of time, I'll try to I'll try to keep it short. And before I even say my sealing words, I want to say a deep appreciation um, to all the lions who have tuned in, as well as those who have shared. I have been very much blessed and enriched and encouraged and challenged as well within myself to step my game up as well. So I thank everyone for that. I thank Kwasi and his family for moving forward with this creation and being so consistent with it that it has an effect to bless so many people across the world. So let me start with that. Um, Given the work that is before us, um, I realize that there is going to be need for us to create some new things and to mold some existing things together um, as we are, as Ras McConnell said, in this embryonic stage. I, for one, have decided to leave working for these entities. Um, for me personally, I always saw a job, or I guess you could call it a career, but I always saw a job as an opportunity to learn, to move forward, to build something that was of benefit to my direct family and my wider human family. And in this specific case, I'm speaking towards the Rastafari family. Um, in terms of works, I've started a bookkeeping business for those individuals who have businesses
and they are in need of bookkeeping services. But I'm primarily offering my services to the Rastafari community first, because that is where I want to build out. I want my skills to be used. I spent many years in the broadcast industry, so I'm also making myself available for ones who would like to stop using artificial intelligence voices for their videos and their content that they put on social media, to also contact me so that I can do voiceovers for the conscious works that are being done by these individuals. Um, I would also like to commend Bongo Wisely and the team on that side, um, and all those in the smaller Caribbean islands, who have been working and building the Rastafari communities and doing some serious works. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Antigua and Barbuda that legalized the sacrament? Was it
Yes,
Antigua?
yes.
Antigua and Barbuda?
Their Antigua is leading out right now, I think, within the Sacramento
Yeah.
legislation.
So for wherever we are winning, I think it's great encouragement to everyone else in the different spaces that we are, to learn from each other, to see how we
Yes,
can
dear.
to see how we can move the fight,
Yeah.
and adjust what we need to adjust
Let's finish it now,
to get
Kwasi.
the outcomes that we want. Um,
Okay, darling.
so in terms of my offerings and things people can contact me about, you can just search Hamilton Brown on Instagram. You'll find me eventually. Um, that's for one, and I am extremely optimistic. The words cannot express how optimistic I am about what is going to be taking place within the Rastafari community over the next couple of years. And I'd also like to issue a good encouragement for those who may be discouraged and may be feeling like, you know, maybe they made the wrong choice by accepting the call of Rastafari. To recognize that His Imperial Majesty, Kadamawi Haile Selassie I, is real, and he has called each one to the works. And you're going to go through your stuff, but just hold firm and go through, because this golden age is not a fantasy, it's a real thing. So
Give
those are my
thanks.
final
Give
words.
thanks. I love it. I love it. Um, Brother Carl, we're gonna ask the eye to give us the honor of sealing. Before we seal, I want to bring up this flyer of the Shashamani Foundation, their annual gala. Brother Carl, before you give your final words on, can you just describe what we're looking at in this flyer and this event and what it's all about?
Yeah, give thanks for this occasion, and again, thanks again, as the brethren had already mentioned, for all your efforts and hard work, because the heights of great men, or if it's a man, was not suddenly reached, but while their companions slept, they kept toiling throughout the night. So we know that anything that is successful, it entails hard work, sacrifice. So we give thanks for the quasi stick to it, that we could have a forum in which you could present the various views and efforts of our brethren and sisters. So we give thanks. I am yet to become a major contributor, and I am always willing and ready when I am able. Yeah, right here, what we have here is our 25th anniversary of our support for the GRDC school in Shashamane, Ethiopia. This 25th year, what we are looking at is setting the basic foundation of our goal for sustainability. We in the West here have been supporting the GRDC NGO charity school on the ground, um, and bring it to this stage. We are now We have an 11 classroom facility. They can go to the site www.shashamane.org and look at the updates. You can surf the whole thing, see our links with Ethiopia and the background of everything. And the efforts that are being made have been made. So we're talking about something tangible, tangible, which one can touch, which we know will bring credibility to the Rastafari more. It's not about me. It's about carrying out the work of His Majesty, which is to promote education in Ethiopia. The GRDC and the government is a local NGO. They are licensed to venture into educational, agricultural, social welfare, and food security efforts in Ethiopia. So we just celebrate that this is not for me or for anyone. We give the glory to the Most High, who has allowed us these 25 years. So now, when the what we are doing now, we reach after 11 classroom building, elementary school. We have a kindergarten, 4 classroom. We have, as I mentioned, over 450 children. We have graduated a lot of youth who have gone on to universities in Ethiopia and are working in the Ethiopian community, servicing their communities, their families' communities, and the nation. So we give thanks to the Most High God who have allowed us, because sometimes we don't know where the funds coming from, but we believe in that parable of the 5 loaves and 2 fish, and it's multiplied for us. So we're now constructing a wall around the school, concrete wall, perimeter for security, but also we are putting 8 shops against these walls and the exterior, which forms a part of the wall, with 8 shops that we are looking to rent out to brethren and sisters, or to utilize ourselves to generate income for the school, so that the school can be sustain itself, instead of depending upon the West. Africa is on that same program, that to whatever they have, they use it to sustain themselves without dependency upon the West. So we encourage the brethren. We have a track record of 25 years of transparency, of integrity, um, because we're not in this for ourselves. We see His Majesty's example to build institutions in Africa, and we have to be working, not just talking, building tangible institutions that people can see and touch. That, yes, this is what the Rastafari bring to Ethiopia, or to any place in Africa where we go, and even as I mentioned, where we are. So on the 20, um, on the 3rd of August this year, 2025, we have our 25th annual fundraising event. Admission is free. Donations are welcome. So we these funds we also sent to Ethiopia. As I said, we have is up 135-meter wall around the perimeter of the school. We have reached halfway in the construction of it. The shops, if you go to the site, even if you scan this flyer, you go to the QR code, it will bring it to the site and show the updates, what we are doing. So we're not only talking, we actually can show live activity. I was in Ethiopia for the past 6 months, um, doing what we can to oversee and put in our input there, encouraging brothers and sisters to contribute. So we asked the brethren, and not only this project, but there's the Haile Selassie School in Jamaica, that we also asked the brethren to tune in to Rastafari TV and support. There's also in Ethiopia also Yawanta School, another school are for children with um, learning challenges, and who have certain disabilities. And that is also right on the premises where Papa Bar was. So we asked the brethren to support things. We noticed that on Facebook and other ways, there's a lot of photo apps, people posing and posing, but we want to be posing, doing something, not just ourselves. It's not about us. It's about leaving something for the youth, the future, for the youth to come, to have, to carry on the work. So we give thanks for the opportunity again, and We um, here is you can go to www.chashavani.org for information. And here's the book that Rasquazi talk about. It is the new edition of the Testament of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Selassie the First. It's right here, and it has His Majesty's speeches on matters of the faith primarily, and which is so important to us. So the brethren can purchase it on Amazon, or you can call through Rasquazi. We will let him keep some in stock that, and he can sell and contribute to the program that he has there. People buying it, then the funds can go into his program, our program there, to support um, expansion of the his media facility. So we give thanks again to the Most High and His Majesty. In closing, I always like to close with two quotes. The first one from His Majesty and the next one from the Bible. His Majesty says, "However wise, however mighty a person may be, is like a ship without a rudder if he's without God. A rudderless ship is at the mercy of the waves and the winds, drifts wherever they take it. And if there arises a whirlwind, it is smashed against the rocks and becomes as if it never existed. It is our firm belief that a soul without Christ is bound to meet no better fate. May our kin and our brothers who rise up in the future take note of the word you have spoken, for without me you can do nothing. And may their hearts be convinced that with your help alone will they be able to do anything. Whatever the task may be, let everyone realize and be convinced that it will be accomplished at the proper time and age, and that it is impossible to have it fulfilled either by just desiring it or by hurrying it unduly. Utterance of His Imperial Majesty as Selassie the First, instrument of the power of the Trinity. Give thanks. So, those are the words of His Majesty. And His Majesty also encouraged us that the Bible is the rallying point of all humanity. And he says in that same speech, he encourages us, and he has told us that we must accept it, his teachings. We know there are many more other books of the Bible which Ethiopia possess, but too many of us cannot read Giza or Amharic. We give thanks for being, in what we have read, and through the guidance of His Spirit, we have been enlightened. And this is a message to all Africa, which is in scripture by Solomon's prayer and the answer from the Most High to him when he prayed while he was building the temple. He said, "If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear their voice from heaven, forgive their sins, and heal their land." So there's that spiritual dimension. Everybody have to change. Change begins with us, not within him, but within us. You draw a circle, stand in it, that's where change begins. So we encourage the brethren to humble ourselves and pray and seek to come into the presence of the Most High with thanksgiving and with praise. And this is so essential. For without Him, as much says, we can do nothing. So we give thanks for the opportunity and these few words. We just give thanks for the opportunity, brethren. Give
Give
thanks.
thanks, brother Carl. Emmanuel, God is with us.
Yes,
I mean,
hallelujah.
God is with us. That is the mystery,
Yes, yes,
that Yeshua come and reveal to mankind. God is with
yes.
us. And
God
His
in us.
Majesty,
Yes, yes,
yes,
yes,
and His Majesty come and sit on the throne of David within that same principle as the
yes,
defender of the faith,
yes,
rule of the universe, which is still within us. So
yes,
it's time now to embrace this and to realize that we are the solution that we've been waiting for.
yes,
When we talk about reparation and all of these things, they only come when we are self-sufficient, when we don't
yes,
need. That is the paradox of justice. People don't just give you justice because it's the right thing to do. Unfortunately, we will get that justice when we realize it's just us to support I and I. And when we stand within our fullness of our strength and our communities are thriving, you will see all of the governments lining up to repent at that time, because we are strong and we are united. But until then, they will continue to see us as prey. So we really have to be wise and to realize that the time is now. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? We ask, global family, we are here doing our part to make sure that the lions tell their own story, because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the lion's voice.
This is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the lion's. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the lion's voice.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the lion's voice.
Yes, job people, this is Michael Shemai representing. I will say, hear the lion voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Rastafari.
It's AWTITUDE representing for Lion's Voice. Yes, massive. This is the time for I and I, the lion them to tell I and I story, our story. Yes, and we reign and rule like this. Reign and rule, yeah. Selassie, I reign and rule. You can't take the lion vibes, people. If you no fool, cause we no Selassie reign and rule. Reign and rule. Selassie, I reign and rule. Queen Omega drop them in the fire, pull from them, no Queen Omega, she reign and rule. Royal Kushite, ancient essence, Emperor Selassie in a majestical presence, flash of all sevens, projecting through I and I events. We sing a song for the king, we bring joy and blessing and overstanding, yeah. We hear Jah every day. Reign and rule, yeah. Selassie, I reign and rule. Yes, I lion vibes, Selassie, I reign and rule. Attitude say that. Boondocks, Black Organization of Global Diplomats optimizing expressions to the world. Till the world, till the end.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lamb's voice. Now put it, I Jollifer said that.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to the lion voice, because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Oh, yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.